Bhakti Swami ISKCON founder Krishna Prabhupada ji ki Nitya Lila Pravisto Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Stottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की हिज होलीनेस महाविष्णु स्वामी की हिज होलीनेस महाविष्णु स्वामी की हिज होलीनेस महाविष्णु स्वामी की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya Acharya Guru Varg ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Gaur Premanande, Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Varisthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Nityanamine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी आश्रित देश तारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So first of all, Happy New Year to each one of you. May this New Year bring lots of bhakti, lots of advancement, because every devotee is looking forward to that in their lives, because that is the biggest treasure or the most valuable thing that we have. Besides other things that we may have, the Lord can bless us with good health, with a lot of prosperity. But for us, the biggest prosperity is Krishna consciousness. And we should always aspire to progress in it, not being stagnant. This whole Krishna consciousness process is dynamic. It is not static. Ananda Budhivardhanam, Pratipada Purnam Mrit Swadanam. Right? So every moment, this Krishna consciousness, ecstasy, is like an ocean that keeps on increasing. That's what Prabhupada said. That, but the moment you stagnate, that means there is something wrong. And when we advance, it is always a non-stop, increasing, blissful process. So today I thank Vidyanidhi Prabhu and Radhika Mataji and family that they have invited us on this very first day of 2016, making it a very auspicious start by wonderful Kirtan, Paripurna Prabhu, and of course the most beautiful Madhur Madhura Shri Radha Kishori Vallabh. A few weeks ago when the Kartik Mass was going on, Vidyanidhi Prabhu came to one of my lectures and he said that, can you do one program at my place? Doesn't matter when. So I guess since we sang that, and the idea is to kind of take you all deep into the nectar of the Damodar Leela. Krishna's Leela is so beautiful, it's so sweet, that once you enter into that Leela, you would never want to get into anything else in your life. Actually, recently I was in one of my lectures on Gita Jayanti Day. We all have heard this verse so many times. Sarva dharman paritejya mamekam sharanam raja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami mahasucha. On that verse alone, we can make an entire 2 or 3 day seminar on it. But what I was trying to say is, because I just mentioned that once you enter into Krishna's Leela, that sweetness, everything else will take a backseat. So that even that word Sarva Dharman Parityaja means, here from the Gaudiya perspective, Sarva Dharman means even that dharma that is not dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Gajendra Nandan, Yashodanandan, Radhanath, Radha Kishori Vallabh. If it is not dedicated to that, then that kind of dharma also you should give up. Meaning, I have read the Acharyas, that includes even Narayana worship and Vishnu worship. I read the commentary of our Gaudiya Acharyas, and there it says, even that, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that means that also that Sarva Dharman Parityajya means exclusive worship. And even the word Sankirtan, just last Monday, we had given a nice class on the Ashtakam, and in that the word Sankirtan comes. We always use that word Sankirtan, right? Yeah. So what does Sankirtan mean? Sankirtan, if you break it, it's a Sanskrit word. If you break it, it means Samyak Kirtan iti Samkirtan. Samyak means full, and Kirtan means Kirti, to glorify the Supreme Lord. Now if you think about the word Samyak, of course, congregational chanting is the normal meaning, which is one of the meanings of Sankirtan. Because in Kali Yuga, we all have to chant. In a congregation, chanting will make us victorious against Maya. Right? And there's a nice saying also that united we stand, divided we fall. But Sankirtan also, our Acharyas explain, San means not only in quantity, but also in quality. And what is that quality? Exclusive, dedicated, that Kirtan dedicated to Krishna, who is Yashodanandan, Nandanandan, that Krishna who is most dear to the gopis, that Krishna that is most dear to Radharani. That is our Gaudiya line. Sometimes we have to understand what our Acharyas stand for. Very, very important. Srila Prabhupada is so kind that in the 12 or 13 years that he was, after the Krishna conscious movement started, he gave us so many things, so many fundamental things that no Acharya in the past nor in the future or anybody can give. Those fundamentals, what we call in Hindi bunyad. But at the same time, our Acharyas, like, we are all known as Rupanugas. What are we known as? Yes, followers of Rupa Goswami. And these Acharyas, they are not ordinary personalities. They actually are the servitors of direct servitors of Srimati Radharani. You have to understand what is their Nitya Siddha Swarupa. Everybody has a Swarup. Everybody has a, like whenever we are fortunate and when we go back home, back to Godhead, we always talk about that, right? What are we going to do? Right? We have, just like we have a certain shape, form, body, name here, right? Somebody's certain relationship with a certain person, relationship with a certain set of children, relationship with a certain set of, yes? Okay, what is that? Yes. So there's a certain set of people that we in the material world by karma we associate and we get.
It's dead.
Haribol. Hare Krishna, that's better? Okay. So due to a certain set of people, we get according to our karma. Karmana deva netrina dehu jantu upapate striya pravishta udaram retu purusha ganashraya. Third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Dev and Devotee, the Samvad is there, where Kapil Dev, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he is instructing his mother and saying that Karmana Deva Netrena, according to one's karma, and under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, Deva Netrena, Deho, body of entity, the soul gets a body according to one's karma, but under the supervision of the Lord. By entering into the womb of a woman and taking shelter first into the semen of a male. Right? So, but again, this is all we are talking about the material world. But when we are 100% purified, we will get a Siddha Swarup. And that Swarup is, in our Acharya Swarup, is directly related, and they are servitors of Srimati Radhika. They are known as, our Acharyas are known as the Prana Sakhis or also Manjaris of Srimati Radhika. And when they give us so much detailed information through their works, through their books about their service to Radha and Krishna and their realizations. Like for example, Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If you read this, the very first verse on Janmadi Asya, the invocation mantra, that is like, he's given 5 different meanings of it. Very deep meanings. So of course, slowly we have to kind of get that interest into what our acharyas are all about. What do they stand for? And what is the inner side? What is the inner side? One more request that I would like to make is kindly shut your phones up. And because that can cause a distraction, I'll just put them on silent mode in case if there's an emergency and if you have to attend it, then you can take it outside. Thank you so much. So this is just like a brief. So what I'm trying to say is that supposing if you are or somebody that you know is failing the class every year after year, you think the parents are going to be happy? Or if they're stagnant, supposing if somebody is in class number 10 and he keeps failing, the parents are going to be very disappointed, right? Same class repeating again and again. So same way, our Srila Prabhupada wanted to give us much more. Srila Prabhupada said that I want to give you Ramayana, I want to give you Mahabharata, I want to give you the Shodash Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami and the other acharyas. I want to give you. But obviously Prabhupada had a limited time, he had a certain leela to perform. So my point being that we should make Prabhupada proud of us. After so many years in the movement, some of us, we should not be simply staying stagnant in the same class. In other words, we should have that deep desire to advance. And advancement means being true Rupanugas. Following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, who is one of our topmost acharyas, along with Sanatana Goswami and the 6 Goswamis, of course. So, today I would like you all to dive deep into the Damodar Ashtakam based on whatever little I have learned from the acharyas' commentaries and the books over a period of years. I would like to share hopefully the deeper inner meaning of this Damodar Ashtakam. If it pleases all of you and if it has some nectar to your ears, then it is all glories to our acharyas. It's nothing to do with me. And if there's something that doesn't make sense, then it is my nonsense that I'll be speaking. So please forgive me. But I try to speak everything as is, as that is the glory of our parampara. So coming back to just before the Damodar Ashtakam, I would like to kind of, touch on a few fundamental topics. Like in our life, we've seen that we have different. That's okay, don't get distracted, I have water. Thank you. In our life, we see that we have different relationships with different people. Especially sometimes there is very famous people, the most strongest people or the most powerful people. Like let's say a prime minister or a president of a country, right? And the relationships that one can have with people who are, as an example, very powerful. What are let's say when the president or the prime minister is giving a speech on an Independence Day, or maybe when the president of the United States is addressing the State of the Union, most of the people get to see him on either TV or sometimes when they're giving the victory speech, they're done in a huge park or a stadium where the people can get so-called darshan of the president, right? Then there is a certain class of people who are much more closer to the president or the prime minister, which is their secretaries or their cabinet members or the MPs. So the MPs probably get to see the president or the prime minister or the senators in the US. They get to see the president more often than the general public. Is it true or not? Because they are being represented by the general public, so they have a meeting once a month or in the parliament, right, or in the Senate, and they get to take the darshan of the president, right, or the prime minister. Then we have still an inner circle of the president or the prime minister, which is in his office, right? In his office also there are secretaries and certain ministers and advisors who are much closer to even than these MPs. Even these MPs need to see the president, they have to make an appointment through them, right? So they are much more closer. So all these relationships that I described, they're all analogous to the relationships that one has in awe and reverence. Is it not true? Even though you let's say you are the head secretary of the prime minister, right? Personal secretary. But even if you are his personal secretary, you cannot put your hand on his shoulder and call him by his first name. You have to always call him, Mr. Prime Minister, now it is time for you to attend this meeting. So you have 2 minutes, sir. So, and then that's how, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, with a lot of awe and reverence and a lot of respect that person has to address the Prime, even though he sees him every day. And even though the President may not even agree on many things that he's advising, but still, or he may be very close to him, but still, that maryada is there, that respect is there. Now, that same President or Prime Minister, when he enters into his personal quarters, and when he comes home, immediately he goes on all his four hands and knees, and his little daughter is there, or his little son, immediately becomes a horse for him and starts playing. The most powerful person in the world, or the most powerful person of that country, right? And at the same time, his wife will call him by his first name. Now he's no more Mr. President, or no more Mr. Prime Minister. Call him by his first name and says, yeah, or maybe by some endearment names like, honey, you're late today. You're supposed to be at 8 o'clock at the dinner table, but right now it's 9:30. And then he has to apologize and even maybe bring her flowers and say, I'm so sorry. I had to overstay on this meeting. I had to meet such and such a person. He had to, these excuses every time. So she keeps on chastising him many times, and he takes that chastisement. Although he's being the most, so there is an intimacy there. True or not? So similarly, there are relationships. Why I gave these examples is because there are such relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself too. With the Supreme Lord. We can establish different relationships based on our bhav or based on our desire. Krishna arranges that to have that relationship with Him. So if you want a relationship in the Vaikuntha bhav, where Lord Narayana was the Supreme Lord, or any of His forms like Narsingha, Vamana, Narsingha, Vamana, etc., or different forms of Narayana, or even Lord Ramachandra. So those who have those relationships, and those who have that affinity, then they will get, when they are purified and when they get the Siddha Swarup, or they will enter into those spiritual planets, but there will still be a certain distance. Like example, Lord Ramachandra, he had friends. Nishad Raj, do you all know who Nishad Raj is? Yes. When he was, or we know Vibhishan, or there was Sugriv, etc. Ramachandra Bhagavan called them friends, Mitra. Always addressed them as Mitra. But those Mitras could not again hug Lord Ramachandra and pat him and call him, like the friends of Krishna. Right? Because that is a different rasa. That is a different rasa. That rasa, that friendship in awe and reverence is called Sambhrama. What is called? Sambhrama. And then that friendship, that is where there is equality, is called Vishrama. So the friendship that Krishna has with his friends in Golok is in the Vishrama mood. So again, different depending on the Lord and the Lord's different services, one can get a position once we are purified in any of those strata or any of those realms. But again, if we want the sweetest of the sweetest ras, which is the Supreme Personality of Krishna, who is the son of Nanda Baba, who is the son of Nanda Yashoda Mai, where he is limitless and he is Purna Purushottam Bhagwan, which even that sense of Bhagwan is not there within because of the extreme love that is there between the devotee and Krishna himself, that he himself forgets that he is the Lord, and the devotees also have very little idea that he is the Lord, but they don't love him because he is the Lord. In Vaikuntha, they love him because he is the Lord. But in Golok, they love him because he is Krishna. Because he is Krishna. That sweetness. That Sri Krishna is the sweetest and the most madhur of all. So, this particular Damodar Ashtakam, coming into that, it has been, this Damodar Ashtakam was written, it is a mention of it in the Padma Purana. And it is a conversation, or actually a composition by Satyavrata Muni. And Shaunak Rishi, and so many rishis headed by Shaunak Rishi and Naradji, they are discussing this particular Damodar Ashtakam that was compiled in some Satya Yuga, we don't even know which. I'm sure you all know that there are 4 yugas, Kali Yuga, and prior to Kali Yuga was Dwapar, prior to Dwapar was Treta, and prior to Treta is Satya Yuga. Now after Kali Yuga again Satya Yuga will come. So it's a non-stop cycle until the 100th year of Brahma is there, which is something like, I forget in how many trillion years. Somebody good in math, you all can do the math. One Kali Yuga, I'm going to round it up, is 400,000 years. Dwapar is 800. How much is 8 plus 4? 12. Treta is 16. 1,600,000. How much is that? Sorry, 1.2 million. How much is that? 1.2 plus 8 is 2. And 2 plus 400 is 2.4 million. And Satya Yuga is about 1.6 million. Actually, it's 1.7 something, but I'm just rounding up. So that's 44 million years is one cycle of Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, Satya. And that equals to 12 hours of Lord Brahma. Yes. So actually, not even that. I take that back. It's 4 million times 1,000. So 1,000 such cycles is 12 hours of Lord Brahma.
4.3 billion.
Yes. So that's 4.3 billion multiplied by 2 times, because 12 hours day and 12 hours night, right? And then Brahma has 360 days in 1 year. Multiply that by 100 years. So that is like almost, I would say, whatever that number is, it's huge. So that is that is the age of Brahma. But this is in some Satya Yuga, not that immediate Satya Yuga. We don't know which one. So it could be billions and billions of years before this. So anyways, coming back to the glories of Damodar Ashtakam. So, of course, we all know this Damodar Ashtakam Leela happened in the month of Kartik, which is the Diwali time. Very auspicious festival for everyone. And because Krishna, as we know, Damodar, Dam means the rope, and Udar means stomach. So one who was tied by the rope is known as Damodar. And that Leela happened right on the New Year's Day, what we call Govardhan Puja today. But at that time there was no Govardhan Puja. If you all go back to Srimad Bhagavatam and the history of or the Leelas of the Lord, at that time it was Indra Puja. Because after Krishna appeared, he requested and he said us that why are you all serving the Vrajvasis, doing this Indra Yagya? You should actually worship Govardhan. Govardhan is the one who is supplying you with everything. What does Govardhan mean? Go means cows, Go means gopis, Go means gopas, and Go means the senses of the Vrajvasis. Vardhanam means to nourish or to increase. So he's saying that they are nourishing us, giving us the fresh green grass. From the green grass we are feeding the cows, and these cows are giving us nice milk and butter and so many milk products. Govardhan is so nice, it's giving us agricultural areas to grow where fruits and vegetables and so many wonderful things. So we should worship him. So from that time onwards, everybody wanted to please Krishna, so they decided to worship Govardhan. But prior to that, it was Indra Puja. So what happened is, one time, it was during this time of end of Diwali and the new year just beginning in the Kartik month, Mother Yashoda had actually given all the instructions to all the maids. Yashoda is a queen of Raj. Actually, one of the names of Krishna is Vrajendra Nandan. Who is Vrajendra? It's Nanda Baba. Vrajendra. Indra means one who is a king. The word Indra in Sanskrit to English, if you translate that, it's a king. Okay? Like we say, a lion, in Sanskrit, one of the names of a lion is Mrigendra. Mriga means deer or animal, and Indra means or the king of the jungle. So Indra basically means king. So Nanda Rani, she is a queen of Raj. She is very rich. Nanda Baba has got 900,000 cows. At that time, the dhan or the wealth was not by how many dollars or rupees they had or gold coins, but how many cows. They were Vaishyas, merchant families. They had so much makhan and so much milk products and dairy products that they used to actually send it to Mathura and sell. Mathura is a very big city, right? So king, and being a king, he had a palace called Nanda Bhavan, and he has many maids. They have many maid servants. Yashoda Mai. So Yashoda Mai actually instructed all those maid servants to go help for this festival that was coming up immediately, which is known as the Indra Yagya, to Upananda. Upananda is Nanda Baba's elder brother. So there the main preparations were going on. They had to decorate the palace, they had to decorate the streets, they had to decorate. So just like we all know, those who are actually very actively involved in any festival, even in the temple, how much preparation is required for one festival? Days in advance, so much seva, so many meetings, so much thought and time. Is it true or not? You all just went through the Brampton 10th anniversary. Congratulations to all of you. And how much preparation I'm sure you all had done. A lot of preparations in order to make this happen. So same way, this Indra Yagya was not something small. It was an annual festival to please Indra. So Upananda's house, so she had sent everybody there. And she said, I will start my stuff early in the morning, whatever I have to prepare. And especially, she also desired to prepare the fresh butter for Krishna on that day. Actually, the previous day, she had actually milked some of the best cows that they had. There was a small Goshala in Nanda Baba's house. And there were those special Surbi cows that gave very sweet, out of the 900,000 cows, there was most select cows. There was Pishangi, Gange, Jamune. These are the different names of those cows that the Shastra tells us. Actually, all this information is given by Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu in detail. There is a book called Gopal Champu in chapter number 8. And also, it is given in the Hari Bhakti Vilas of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, chapter 16, which is, Prabhuji was asking me the other day, where are the references that I am, so I am remembering the chapters and the Shastras. So Hari Bhakti Vilas, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, has actually, Sanatana Goswami actually wrote the main Hari Bhakti Vilas and offered it as his love to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So actually Sanatana Goswami has written a wonderful commentary known as Digdarshini. What is it called? Digdarshini. Especially about the Damodar Leela. So all this information that I am sharing with you today is coming either from Gopal Champu or a permutation combination of both the Shastras. So, where was I? Sometimes, I have to kind of bifurcate a little bit to give you all a little extra information. So coming back to the Leela itself,
yesterday Mataji milked milk previously.
Yes, yes. So all this information is given, like the names of the cows, etc. And that was given. Thank you so much. So all those details are given. So Mother Yashoda was thinking that my Lala in Raj, everybody calls Krishna Lala. That is, and Radharani's name is Lali, and nobody generally calls them with. Actually, there are different gradations also. Just like I mentioned, Mr. President is a gradation. Then somebody who is a friend of the president may call him by, and then the wife calls him something. Let's like in our practical experience, we have nicknames in our house.
Yes.
Yeah, your mother may call you some other name than your friends or your husband may call you something with endearment, right? So same way, Lala and Lali is the most standard and the most endearment for Krishna and Radharani. And even generally, even all Gopas or even anybody who is even a boy or a girl in Raj, they are generally addressed by Lala Lali. So, Mother Yashoda is always so thinking that every time I'm getting so many complaints from all the Vrajvasis, all the gopis are coming and they're saying your Lala is stealing butter all the time. And she was always thinking that I am Nandarani and we have 900,000 cows and I have so much butter in the house, and my Lala, why does he have to go steal everywhere, here and there, hither and thither? So then she thought, you know what, maybe it is my fault. And what is the fault that she's thinking? That I have too many servants making the makhan and this and that. I should personally make it for my Lala and see. And so she had personally the previous day milked those cows, those wonderful Surbi cows that are there, milked them, put the heat for boiling, the milk for boiling, and prepared the most sweetest yogurt. So early in the morning, she wakes up and then In Gopal Champu, wonderful description is given of Lala. Lala is sleeping in Mother Yashoda's next to her in the bed. Mother Yashoda wakes up very early in the morning, and when she sees the Lala and is sleeping very nicely on the bedside, she's stroking Lala's head, his hair, and she simply tears of ecstasy are flowing from her eyes. Then, my Lala, you are so sweet. You are sleeping. Sleep well, Lala. I'm going to go into the kitchen. Indra Yagya is coming up, and I also want to make some special market for you. So you sleep well. And it was very early in the morning, and probably I would say Brahma Muhurta, prior to that, she woke up. Mother Yashoda's beauty is described by in the Gopal Champu. She dresses up so nicely. It's Diwali, so nice silk clothes, as we all know, based on our personal experiences also in our homes. Diwali is a very special festival. New clothes, new ornaments, especially gold ornaments. We have our practical experiences in our own family also, right? Same way, Mother Yashoda dresses up very beautifully. Mother Yashoda's beauty is so, Mother Yashoda is savli. She is also dark in color. That is why Krishna is dark. Sometimes we see the picture of Mother Yashoda as like, of course, Krishna is also Navanira Danindita Kanti Dharam Rasusagar Nagara Bhupavaram Shubhavanki Macharu Shikhanda Shikim Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Braja Rajasutam. The beauty of Krishna is expressed, what is the color of Krishna? Navanira Danindita Kanti Dharam. His effulgence or the beauty of Krishna, the color of Krishna is like a Navanirada. Nirad means a cloud, a freshly formed cloud. And it even puts Navanirada Nindita. Ninda means puts that cloud, that beauty of that newly formed cloud to even shame. Right? We also, even Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Even his beauty puts to shame even thousands and thousands of cupids or Kandarpas or Kamdevs. So Yashoda's beauty has been described in the Gopal Champu that she is very beautiful. Mother Yashoda is of actually old age, but she is very, very effulgent. Actually, Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai conceived Krishna at a very, very old age. Not that they were very young, but in spite of that, they are effulgent. And they are so Mother Yashoda is so beautiful, so pretty, dressed up in silk garments and gold ornaments. And the Shastra describes that actually Yashoda, Krishna is famous because of Yashoda. Yash means fame, and Da means to give. Like Radharani's mother's name is Kirti Da, almost the same meaning. Kirti dene wali. Kirti Da. Kirti Da Sundari. We call her Kirti Da Sundari. Is it true or not?
Yes.
So Krishna is famous also because of Yashoda Mai. So now Yashoda Mai is entering the kitchen, and she has actually this huge big earthen pot full of fresh yogurt, and she is basically starting to churn the yogurt. She's got that churning rod in it and got the ropes, and she is churning. And when Champu, what is the description given? That the Mother Yashoda is churning, and there is a wonderful sound that is coming out of the churning rod and out of her ornaments. Like, for example, dik tan, dik tan, dik tan, dik tan, ching ching, ching ching, chink ching. So it is like our Gaudiya Acharya is described. It's like dik tan is like the sound of a mridang, and the ching ching is like the kartal. Now we have to remember one thing, that in Golok or any of the spiritual planets, everything is chitta. Never forget that principle. Everything is full of consciousness. There's nothing known as inanimate there. There, when Krishna says, my dear flute, Venu, come here, it comes flying. If he wants to call the table, he can call the table, and the table is consciousness. Nothing is inferior there in one sense too. Everything is superior because all are Siddha. So initially when I started the talk today, everybody has a Nitya Siddha Swarup. So we have also a Swarup in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual planets, depending on our bhav for Krishna, or depending on our spiritual emotions that we have for the Supreme Lord. Right? So supposing somebody who is a pure Ram devotee, there is a planet called Ayodhya. in the spiritual skies just above Vaikuntha. As somebody who is a devotee of Lord Narayana, there are so many different Narayana lokas in Vaikuntha. So, in Go, all these Nitya Siddhas are there. Whether they are apparently just inanimate objects, but they are not inanimate actually. Everything is full of Chitta and everything is for the pleasure that Yogamaya arranges for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees, both. So, when she is singing, she is actually singing, there's one very nice Bilva Mangal, there's known as the Govinda Damodar Stotram. It's a beautiful stotra that Bilva Mangal Thakur has written, and I'm sure you all must have heard that this repeating line. Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. There's wonderful Sanskrit slokas that describes actually the pastimes of Krishna. Now, this Krishna at that time when Mother Yashoda is in the kitchen churning, Krishna is only 2.5 years old. So this Govinda Damodar Stotra contains a lot of the pastimes that had happened right around from the time he appeared to the 2.5-year-old Krishna. And Mother Yashoda is singing those wonderful pastimes, and she is in her wonderful kirtan. She is doing dik tan, ching, 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 ching. And they are reciprocating. Just like, when some one devotees immediately, I just started singing, I didn't have to ask him to pick up the mridam. Out of his pure sentiments for kirtan, he immediately joined. Just perfect practical example. True or not? Same way, those chitta entities, they started joining Mother Yashoda in her wonderful kirtan. And Mother Yashoda is so much absorbed in those wonderful pastimes of Krishna. She is thinking, my dear Krishna, you are the Mukutamani of Nanda Baba. You are the crown jewel of this dynasty of Nanda Baba. The residents of Raja are so fortunate to witness all these wonderful sweet pastimes of yours. When you are only 6 days old, you killed the demoness Putna. And then you killed the Shaktasur demon. And then Trinavrat came and he took you up in the air. And by the grace of Parmeshwar, you are saved. See the sentiment? By the grace of Parmeshwar, you are saved. And then she's singing all these are verses, all Sanskrit verses. They're wonderful. Hopefully one day these can be memorized and can be sung and explained also. So she's saying such wonderful verses and she's saying these things that Krishna, it is so true that Vishnu's Maya is present. I saw that one day when you opened your mouth. Krishna actually showed Mother Yashoda the Brahman twice. Once when Mother Yashoda was about to breastfeed him, and she saw when he opened his mouth and he yawned, she saw the entire Brahman. And once was in which place? In Brahman Ghat in Gokul, when she said, "Did you eat mitti?" And he said, "No, mitti, I didn't eat mitti." So open your mouth, and she saw the entire creation in Krishna's mouth. So, she's saying that Krishna, this proves that Vishnu's Maya is so strong that I was seeing things. When I saw your mouth open, I saw all different kinds of planetary systems. So can you imagine? Did you get the sar here? She's saying that Vishnu's Maya is so strong and I am imagining things because of illusion. But actually Krishna showed her. So she is singing all these wonderful pastimes of Krishna. Now in the meantime, what happens is Lala wakes up. And Lala, when he wakes up, he doesn't find his mother next to him. Immediately a 2.5-year-old child, generally from your personal experiences, immediately starts crying. And when he starts crying, he thinks that his mother is going to come, but mother is absorbed in the kitchen in her kirtan. Just like sometimes we put the kirtan, or when the kirtan is going on and the phone is ringing, the host doesn't pick up the phone because there's kirtan going on, right? So Mother Yashoda is also absorbed in the kirtan and she doesn't hear the crying of Lala. Now Lala is crying even more because and then slowly he kind of figures out that, oh, Mother Maya is in the kitchen. So he says, okay, I will make it there. And he gets down slowly from the bed. He actually rolls over. He has not actually just started walking, in one sense. Slowly rolls over his tummy, and and the bed is high. He puts one foot down on the ground, making sure that he's secure, and then slowly struggles to put the other foot down. And then he makes it slowly to the kitchen, and the Acharya has described that he's like a little intoxicated elephant. He's just woken up, he's crying. Like sometimes when you cry, your eyes are also blurry. And also when in the middle of the night, or so when you wake up early in the morning, you're not in that straight walking mood like you would, right? Even sometimes when you have to go to the bathroom at night, what do? We sometimes, take even there's light, we don't walk straight like we walk in the daytime. That thing is there, right? Because of the sleepiness. So they describe this beauty that Krishna is going zigzag like a little intoxicated baby elephant, and he's crying, and he makes it into the kitchen. And Mother Yashoda is still in her kirtan. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Mother Yashoda doesn't even hear him come into the kitchen and him crying, because the kirtan is going on full-fledged. So now what Krishna does, baby Krishna goes and immediately kind of stands right in front of the churning pot and the rod, and puts one hand on the rod and catches one hand the upper cloth, the garment, anchal of Mother Yashoda. And immediately when that anchal, when it's caught, and when she feels it, she stops that churning and picks up Lala. Oh Lala, why are you crying? My Lala, you're crying. And she wipes his tears and sticks him to her chest and sits him down just in that same room in the kitchen and starts breastfeeding Lala. Lala is breastfeeding so nicely, and she is also getting this ecstasy. Our Acharya has described that she gets the Ashtasattvik Vikar, the 8 kinds of different transformations. Her hair is standing at an end, horripilation, and tears are profusely coming out of her eyes, getting that satisfaction when feeding Krishna. And Krishna is getting that satisfaction too. Krishna is simply enjoying Mother Yashoda's milk. And the mother and son, that Vatsalya Ras is actually flowing through that milk. That Vatsalya Ras, the parental affection is flowing through that milk. Now, also in the kitchen, right next to that big churning pot, there's also another huge pot that is kept for heating. For milk is being heated, because she also has to prepare more makhan for Krishna and also for the Indra Yajna. So when that is happening, the milk boils over and starts falling into the fire. When that happens, suddenly Mother Yashoda notices it and takes this Krishna, who is actually wrapped like a little baby monkey around her tummy. Like how the babies sometimes they grab their mother with both their legs around, and she immediately picks Krishna very easily and puts him down, and she runs towards that milk that is on the stove. Now Krishna, when she put him down, he starts crying. He starts crying profusely. This is the second time that morning he started crying. And Mother Yashoda said, Lala, I'll come. Just give me a minute. I'm going to take care of this milk. So, our Acharyas explain that why does the milk boil over and fall into the fire? So, Mother Yashoda is having a nice conversation with the milk. Now again, remember, everything is chitta. In Golok Vrindavan or in the spiritual world. So, she's asking the milk, Bhaiya milk, why are you, just take it easy. I'm here now. Don't worry. Oh, Maya, what can I say? What is the use of my living? Because I'm seeing here that you are an ocean of milk, and Krishna has a huge appetite, and you are able to satisfy him completely, and Krishna will not need me anymore. So I might as well commit suicide. So this is the bhav of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava always thinks that he is not or she is not serving Krishna enough. The moment we think that we are serving Krishna enough, that means our stagnancy happens. That means our pride takes over. If we think like that. There's a lot of good lessons from this particular conversation between Mother Yashoda and milk. So, milk is saying there is no use of my life because I can't serve Krishna. My life is useless. So Mother Yashoda, no, milk bhaiya. Don't worry. She immediately takes some cold water and sprinkles it. And Mother Yashoda, here in the role of a guru or of a senior Vaishnavi, is calming down this Vaishnava milk, saying, no, don't think like that. Yes, I can satisfy Krishna with my breast milk that is flowing from my chest, but I cannot make makhan from it. I will still need you. So I will engage you in Krishna's service. Don't worry. That is the lesson that we all should learn. Encourage our juniors or encourage any Vaishnavas. Especially, so many Vaishnavas are so nice in our movement that when we join, they encourage us, they give us seva. Even if we make mistakes, they say, that's okay. Do it this way. Encourage each other. That's the main thing. Not that some people want to grab all the services and want to step on each other's toes and show that my service is greater than yours. And sometimes they even do a lot of vicious things just to highlight their service. Or just to, I don't need to go into those details. Everybody in their practical experiences must have seen both the parts. Like good Vaishnavas encouraging and some who are very kanishta. There are 3 kinds of Vaishnavas. Actually 9 kinds. There is the 3 major categories. Kanishta Vaishnava, there is the Madhyam Vaishnava, and then there is the Uttam Vaishnava. Now within the Kanishta there is Kanishta, Madhyam, Kanishta, Uttam. Then Madhyam is Madhyam Kanishta, Madhyam, Madhyam Uttam. And then in Uttam there is Uttam Kanishta, Uttam Madhyam and Uttam Uttam. So we have to look at those examples. Now when we find somebody who is a very Kanishta, then basically that person is completely bereft of the proper knowledge. The person acknowledges Krishna, has faith in Krishna, but doesn't respect the rest of the Vaishnavas. So when we see such a thing, one should try to, avoid that situation and continue your seva nicely. If you can encourage that person, encourage it. But if that person becomes very, very aggressive, then leave him alone. Over a period of time, things will change, but always encourage such persons. So Mother Yashoda, being a very senior Vaishnava, the role of a guru, Guru's work is to engage the devotees in Krishna's service. In Mangal Aarti we sing this verse, don't we? What is that verse? Anybody remembers?
Which one?
That's what I'm asking. There's 8 verses in the Mangal Aarti. And these are all the 8 verses describe a pure guru's symptoms. And this engaging the devotees in the service of Krishna is what? Yuktascha bhaktamscha niyunjatopi vande guru shri sharanarvindam. Right? So yukta means what? To engage. Chaturvidasi bhagavad prasado swadana driptan haribhakta sangam. No, the verse prior to that. No, not the verse prior to that. Shri Vigrahara, Shri Vigrah Aradna Nityanana Shringara Tan Mandir Marjanado Yuktascha Bhaktamscha Niyamjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. That is a true Guru. That is a senior Vaishnava. One who engages the devotees in the proper service. Not that you give them some service that you don't like. Rather you give them the service that you like best. That is what Radharani is all about. Radharani gives the topmost services to the gopis and the manjaris. Which she loves. It's like this, very simple. Supposing if you make something in your house, or something that is made several days ago and it is in the refrigerator, and you just put it in the microwave and somebody comes that you don't like it, bro, this is nice, you take. आप नहीं खा रहे हो, दूसरे को खिला रहे हो. A lot of times we see that the services that you love, you don't want to part with it. You are so selfish. We should not be like that. See the example of Yashoda Mai. Yuktasya. Guru Maharaj is Yuktascha Bhaktamscha Niyunjatopi. He engages the devotees. And these are so many finer nuances in Damodar Ashtakam. Otherwise, Damodar Ashtakam, we have heard this so many times. Krishna is naughty and Mother Yashoda takes a stick. Krishna just starts crying. Finally, she binds him with her love. And Krishna goes into the yard, fells the 2 Arjun trees, and two wonderful demigods emerge from them, circumambulate, pray, and finish. Now time for prasadam. Damodar Leela Khatha. No. This Damodar Leela can go on, each sloka can go on for 1 or 2 days. It is so beautiful. And that is why we need to be absorbed in it. And today I have been only given an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'm going to try to compress everything as much as I can for the pleasure of Mahavishnu Swami and for the pleasure of all of you present. So anyways, coming back to the Leela. Where was I? Engaging the devotees in the service of Krishna, which is the proper mood of a Vaishnava. So, this conversation is going on, and then the milk is pacified and says, oh my God, that's very nice. Oh Krishna, Mother Yashoda, thank you so much. You will be engaging me in Krishna's service. Yes, I will be engaging. So sometimes when the devotees are sometimes very, either they are depressed or they have certain problems in life, other devotees should not neglect them. Try to uplift them. Sometimes so many devotees don't come to the temple for days, for months. They are not there. How many people really care to call them to see if they are okay? Srila Prabhupada said it takes thousands of gallons. It takes thousands of gallons to make one devotee. And sometimes, due to our personal behavior, we shun devotees away. Which should not happen. We can make mistakes. We all are subject to that. Just because we are in a certain position, we think nobody is watching, but Krishna knows how many mistakes we are making constantly, how many aparadhs we are making. Actually, it is also an aparadh to not engage the devotees in Krishna's service. Radha, and the opposite of Radha is aparadh. Radharani engages everybody in Krishna's service. And one who does not engage in Krishna's service and stops somebody, then that is an aparadh. It is viruddha. It is opposite of Radharani's principle. So if we want the grace, our Gaudiya Vaishnavas are actually not devotees of Krishna. See, a lot of us don't even know this principle. Our acharyas are actually primarily, they are the servitors of Sri Radhika. Radha ji ke sevak hai wo log. Sevikas actually, rather. They are actually, Thakur Bhakti Vinod says, his bhav is that only exclusive, anything that even Krishna does, that will upset Radhaji, he doesn't want to see Krishna. If he upsets Srimati Radhika, like Vishakha Sakhi, she is very upset. If Radharani sheds one drop of tear, she will immediately start telling a lot of things to Krishna. You are this, you are that. You know, my Pran Sakhi doesn't want to see you. You get out of here. You're not allowed in this kunj. Chastising Krishna. That is the love. And that is what our Gaudiya Acharyas are. Who is Rupa Goswami? Rupa Manjari. Who is Sanatana Goswami? Lavanga Manjari. Who is Raghunath Das Goswami? Tulsi Manjari. Who is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? Guna Manjari. Who is Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Kamala Manjari. Who is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada? Nayana Manjari. And these Manjaris are very special. Again, it will take a whole class just to understand that. But point being that they are exclusive servitors and exclusive service to Sri Radha. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has been his name is Sharanagati and Gitavali. If you go through these bhajans, so many bhajans are there. We sing some of the famous ones, which is like Jai Radha Madhav. That comes from one section of Gitavali. But there are so many wonderful bhajans in there that he expresses. That this bhajan is known as Bhajan Lalsa. There is one section. Dekhi de, bhulibo vaakabe, nijasthula sharira, nayane herivo, vrajapura shobha, nityachita anandamoy. He's saying that when will I forget my entire material existence? And when will I be able to engage in the service of Srimati Radharani? And he desires, there's a nice verse, I forget it. Vishamanu pure janama hoilo yavate vivahoive. I would like to be born in Rishabhanupure, meaning Barsana. I would like to be born there. And Yavate Vivahoi. I would like to get married in Yavat because Radharani was married in Yavat. so I can stay close to Radharani. This is the bhav of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Internal bhav. So many details are there. It's a matter of us simply taking up those bhajans or those scriptures and reading them. So where was I in the Leela?
Specified to milk.
Yes. So basically engaging, and also the idea being that not committing aparad, meaning we should have that bhav like Radhaji, we should have the bhav like Yashoda Mai, encouraging each other. So milk is now satisfied, but here Krishna is extremely upset. He is angry, he is crying, Mother Yashoda neglected me. He is feeling that. Now this is due to Yog Maya, and there are two kinds of Maya basically. The Maya in the material world is known as Mahamaya, and the Maya in the spiritual world is known as Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya makes special arrangements for Krishna's pleasure and the pleasure of the Krishna's devotees, wherein even Krishna is put under the spell of Yoga Maya, so he forgets that even he is the Supreme Lord. And also the same thing, he puts that spell on the devotees, making them forget that he is the Supreme Lord. So it's just 100% pure love. I love you because what you are. I love you because what you are, just because you are the beautiful Krishna. So, Krishna is angry, but internally he is very happy. Look how my mother is consoling another Vaishnava. Actually, Mother Yashoda sometimes even chastises Krishna very harshly. She says, Krishna, I just put these nice silk clothes on you, and you went out and you started eating mitti or playing, and you made all these clothes dirty. These are in your service. How can you do that? So again, she is protecting the Vaishnavas, even chastising Krishna. So the service is more important than the Supreme Lord himself. That is the principle here. One time, in 26 2nd Avenue, Srila Prabhupada, he didn't have anything much. It was a small apartment. And in that apartment, Srila Prabhupada had his little, the metal trunk that he had brought from India. That was his table, where he used to translate his books initially. Right? So, there was no furniture or anything like that. And there was this one Mataji, Prabhupada's disciple. Her name is Janaki. Jane, that was her name at that time. And Jane she was actually a good painter. And she had painted a nice beautiful painting of Radha Krishna. And she wanted to put it right on top of Srila Prabhupada's head, where his seating place is. Right? So she came in with the painting and she was looking how can I put it? And Prabhupada smiled and he understood. You can even stand on my head if you have to and put that painting on the wall. This is nice service. So the point being, of course, nobody's going to do that, but that's a bhav. Service is very important. So Krishna is very angry, he knows, but internally he is extremely pleased with Mother Yashoda, seeing that conversation happen between the milk and Maya. And externally he wants to show that he is angry. This is the same Krishna who was only 6 days old, who was capable of putting away, Putna could not get off his grip, who had, they say, strength of 10,000 elephants. And Krishna, when he grabbed her in the mouth, she could not get Krishna off her chest. Somebody who had the strength of 10,000, and the same person, Krishna, that Lord, was simply put easily by Mother Yashoda, although he was clinging to Mother Yashoda's body or stomach. So that shows there's a very big principle here that everybody should remember. Mother Yashoda's love for Krishna exceeded Krishna's love. That is why she was able to do that. That's the principle. Our love for Krishna should exceed his love in order to control him. There are so many different faiths and so many different religions in this world, including in our Sanatana Dharma or so-called Hinduism. I don't like to use the word Hinduism because Hindu word is not there in the scriptures. It's a misnomer. Because if you see, most of the people you ask them, they know God is great, God is my bread provider, or they are God fearing. But Prabhupada said, don't be God fearing, be God loving. And that is the principle. And when you have your love exceeds Krishna's love, you are able to control Krishna. So the principle behind Mother Yashoda able to put Krishna so easily down like an ordinary child is because the love of Krishna, the love of Mother Yashoda exceeded the love of Krishna. So now Krishna is crying, Mother Yashoda is still taking care of the milk, she's got her back against Krishna, but Krishna says, okay, you're not even paying attention to me, you have neglected me, let me teach you a lesson. And just like any naughty child, they always get brilliant ideas. There was another huge pot, maybe 3.5 times the size of Krishna himself, the 2.5-year-old baby Krishna, sitting in one corner that was made with fresh yogurt, which Mother Yashoda intended to make more makhan. What Krishna does, he immediately invokes his Satchitananda Rupa, his opulence, and he hits a little pestle stone, that the ones that you grind chutney, without making noise. See how magical. And Mother Yashoda doesn't even hear it. And there's a big hole, and can you imagine something that is filled to the brim, and that to a huge size, by how much force it will come out, and all that white yogurt, fresh yogurt started streaming out, and it started making a nice pool in the kitchen. And then suddenly his crying stopped. Just like the brilliant, something happens to the kids, when they are crying and when they do something naughty, they immediately start laughing and giggling because they have done a prank. And his crying stops there, and he is smiling now and giggling, seeing the white pool of yogurt streaming from the pot. But then suddenly he realized, oh, Maya is going to turn around any second. So he says, 1, 2, 3 ho jao yahan se, Rafu chakkar. So he immediately, slowly tiptoes out into the next room, which has got 2 doors. One door into the kitchen and one door into the yard, into the courtyard of Nanda Baba. That room, he slowly tips, but he forgets that he is now, because he's covered under Yogma, although he's Satchitananda Rupam, he still forgets. Bhagavad says in the very first invocation verse, Janmadiyasya yato anvaya ditartascha arthesho abhigya swarat. He is completely knowledgeable, directly and indirectly of everything. But here Yogmaya covers him and he forgets that he has left little footprints. So there, Mother Yashoda, when she turns around, Krishna is gone, and there's a beautiful set of little fine footprints. Can you imagine? In the white yogurt leading into that other room. And Mother Yashoda sees that, and she is extremely upset, but at the same time she has got this double mood in her. And she is very happy to, look my Lala, how innocent he is. He just doesn't know that he has left footprints. He thinks that I won't even know where he is. And Mother Yashoda is amused by that. But Mother Yashoda is upset at the same time, because you can imagine, right? Let's say if you are making a nice feast or something, and then one of your children, spoils the bhoga that you're making, the whole all the work that you energy they put in, that will be very frustrating. Is it true or not? So she gets very frustrated and very angry as well. So now Lala goes into the other room. Now what is happening there? Lala, when he goes into the other room, he's thinking that Mother Yashoda won't know where I am. I am in this little room here, which is called as a storage room. And in the storage room, he says he sees another pot hanging on top, on the rafter, on the shikha. He says, second lesson for Mother Yashoda now. I'm going to get to it. But he's thinking, how can I get to it? And he sees one okli or an ukhal. It is like a grinding motor. We've seen it in our childhood also, that they used to grind masalas. The whole chilies or whole cumin seeds or whole dhania, they used to put it in it, and they used to use that what do you call in Gujarati, it's called sambelo. And there were 2 women standing on each other, and they would grind and make it into a fine powder. In those days, they didn't have those blenders or anything. And made it fine. In my childhood, I've practically seen it. They used to come, especially in summer season. Even in a big city like Bombay, they used to come. And people used to buy wholesale from the grocery stores, the dry red chilies, the dry dhania powder, the cumin seeds, etc. And then they would give it, and they would charge a small fee to grind them into fine powder, so that your masala is all good for the rest of the year. So that ukkal is seen, and it's overturned, so Krishna climbs on top, and gets to the butter that is hanging on top of the rafter. Now when Krishna gets there and he starts taking makhan out and he starts eating, and all over it is spread all over his mouth, and then at the same time he is actually seeing that there is a couple of monkeys out there and crows. He's even calling them come. Now we've seen our practical experience. Supposing if you're standing in the yard and especially in summertime when there are squirrels or something, if you have a piece of food, especially in Vrindavan, monkeys, you have to be very careful. Monkeys have their own glories in Vrindavan. It's amazing. So he is calling those, and immediately there is only one or two in the beginning, and then now there is like many coming in. Like supposing if you throw one piece, like to pigeons or to sparrows, then suddenly from nowhere 50 will come. Is it true or not? So all these monkeys start coming, the crows start coming there, and Krishna is having a ball with them. He's saying, take more, and he's feeding the monkeys, he's feeding the crows, and he's really enjoying doing that. He's getting so much pleasure, and the monkeys and crows are also getting a lot of pleasure in being fed by Krishna's own hands. So there is a very nice reason behind that. Our acharyas comment that why Krishna is feeding the monkeys and crows. Why is that? Because Krishna said that when I was Lord Ramachandra, these monkeys had worked so hard for me, and they built a bridge for me, and they were living in the forest, and I could not even give them any decent things. They were basically living on roots, kandmul food, rafal, right? The roots and some raw berries and stuff like that. So I want to reciprocate with their service in my Krishna Leela by feeding them with my own hands the best food. Makhan or butter is considered the premium. If you see, in all the food today in India, not everybody can afford butter or ghee. Some of them, the poor families, they cook only in oil, or even some of the sweets. Sweets always need ghee. But some of the sweets, these poor people, or even the average class, because they're so expensive. Ghee is a very expensive commodity, right? Not everybody can afford it. So ghee, when you say ghee, it's like prime food, topmost. And it is also makhan. Makhan is a prime food which Krishna personally loves. He gives what he loves best. Not like that other example that I give, that what you don't want to eat, you give somebody else, get rid of it. So Krishna is giving the food that he loves, the best, that he enjoys the best, to them, that look, I was not able to give you at that time, but now I'm giving you the best. Then one may think, what about the crows? Why the crows? Right? So in going in the Ram Leela again, there is a devotee, these crows are the descendants, Krishna is saying, that these crows are the descendants of my devotee Kakbhushandi. Kakbhushandi. Kakbhushandi actually was a disciple of Lomas Rishi. In the Ram Leela, Lomas Rishi had this disciple, and this disciple was not very, very favorable to Guru's service or favorable to the Guru, and he was always doing things against the Guru's wishes, and sometimes he was even very nasty or rude to the Guru. Now Lomas Rishi, he was actually a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, but Lomas Rishi was humble. He didn't really, do anything about it, but Lord Shiva couldn't stand it. So Lord Shiva came and said that you will be cursed to the worst of the yonis, meaning the worst of the births. And one of the worst births is like that of a crow. So you will be transported to that. So you will become a crow. But Lomas Rishi was so kind, the Guru. He said that, my dear Shivji Maharaj, I know he has made mistakes, please forgive him. He said, my curse is already there, but I can do one thing because of you. He will witness so many wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Especially there are so, and then he will, Akhand Ramayana, he will continuously narrate, and I will give him place at the base of Kailash in Mansarovar. So it is said even today, just like when Vedvyas is even present today in Badrikashram, they say, if you go take darshan, if you have the eyes, he is eternally present. Vedvyas in Badrikashram. Similarly, Kakbhushandi is even present today in Mansarovar and is eternally reciting the Ramayana. So one time, one devotee, I don't remember in what is the name, but that devotee went to Lord Brahma and said, Brahma, I don't understand how Lord Ramachandra is the Supreme Lord, because I saw that, when he was little, the crow came and stole a little piece of the roti from his hand and he started crying. So how can he be the Supreme Lord? So Brahma said, you go to Lord Shiva, he'll explain it to you. Or go to Naradji. So then Narad said, no, go to Lord Shiva, he'll explain. And then Shiva said, actually the perfect person to explain that to you would be Kakbhushandi. So you go to Kakbhushandi. So anyways, coming back to our main Leela. So Krishna says that, he is eternally speaking my glories in the Ramayana and he has witnessed this. So, let me also give him the best. That is the Makhan that I love. So monkeys are very in Raj. One has to remember that one should not commit any offenses to anyone, including these birds and animals. They are actually much better than us. Their birth. Jayati te adhikam janma nagraja. One who is born in Raj, they are even glorious than glory. Jayati te adhikam janma nagraja. Some or the other, they are fortunate to be born in Krishna's land. We've seen so many times that monkeys are very naughty. Why are they naughty? They're naughty because Krishna is like that and Krishna wants them to be like that. Especially these monkeys in certain areas in Vrindavan, they're extremely naughty. You enter Loi Bazaar, you enter Seva Kunj, you enter the Radharaman Palli, and you enter the Madhunman temple. They'll take your glasses away. This practically happened this April while I was in India, talking about my harmonium. Right outside Radha Damodar Mandir, there's a nice little harmonium shop. So I was thinking sometimes, why drag the big harmonium? I like this little harmonium. I was checking. So for going for kirtan or something, it will be easy. So I was in the shop. In India, if you see, the shops are raised. They are on like a stone, sort of you have to climb a couple steps, even if they're on the ground floor. Especially the shops that are made in the older days. Right? So in Seva Kunj, there's a lot of old shops dating back many years back. So this little place was there. I was in the shop and I was checking out our harmoniums and suddenly what happened? And I thought somebody that I know must have come behind me. Like you meet so many devotees in Vrindavan, right? And sometimes we play pranks with devotees, we close their eyes and things like that. We know that. So I didn't even bother. And this shopkeeper said, Bhai Sahab, Prabhu ji, aapka chasma gaya. Bola, chasma gaya? हाँ वो कोई प्रभु अभी लिया होगा बाहर ही खड़ा होगा नहीं बंदर लेके गया. Now I go outside, I see that this bandar with a little baby bandaryani is there and she has actually got my glasses 2 stories high. So now then I immediately told this shopkeeper, bring me some fruit, bring me a banana or an apple, because about 10 years ago I had the same experience when I was in the Radha Damodar temple. I was bowing down at Rupa Goswami Thakur Samadhi. And actually when bowing down, sometimes I take my glasses off and I leave it in my hand or something or close by. And when I finished my bowing down, my glasses were gone. This is about 10 to 12 years ago. So then that monkey was right on the Jiva Goswami street. If you remember that area, there's a Jiva Goswami is also right next to Rupa Goswami Samadhi. There's Jiva Goswami's Bhajan Sthali. So then somebody told me, offer him a fruit. So I went to the pujari and said, Prabhu, can you give me some fruit? Acha bandar le gaya, theek hai, abhi chahiye. He gave me a nice banana, I threw it and my glasses came back. Exchange. Okay. But now when I told this shopkeeper, this is the amazing part, that fruit la, bhaiya, Prabhu ji, abhi fruit se kaam nahi chalega, fruity chahiye. Seriously. So he actually went and spent 15 rupees from his pocket and he brought that mango drink fruity. And he threw it and the glasses, and immediately you can imagine how the way they really cherish that. And 2 days later, same time almost in the evening at dusk, usually in the evenings I go around taking darshan of the different Goswami temples after the 4 o'clock aarti at our Krishna Balram Mandir. That is my normal routine. So I was in Seva Kunj again, finished my darshan of Radha Damodar temple and I was on my way to Shyam Sundarji. It's in the same street. But suddenly I heard some screams. Meri joli, my bag. So I thought somebody must have there was a Mataji, middle-aged or higher, and somebody must have stolen. I was looking, I told my rickshaw, stop. I was on this cycle rickshaw. So then I said, Mataji, kya hua? Bandar meri diksha ki mala le gaya, And she was clinging on, she was crying. ये मेरी दीक्षा की माला है. And I saw that the monkey was right there. I was telling Mataji, एक काम करो. I told the rickshaw, जाओ, fruity ले आओ. I gave him some 20 rupees, fruity ले आया. I said, Mataji, fruity ले आओ, fruity. She was just so much heartbroken. She couldn't even hear my words. And then the fruity came, gave it to that monkey, and he gave back the mala. Left it right there. So then Mataji was so thankful, and she was in tears. She said, Beta, she gave me all kinds of blessings. I said, blessings goes to my harmonium mala. He taught me what fruity is. So, no more. So, like around Krishna Balaram Mandir, they are not so naughty. A lot of places they are not so burdened, especially immediately. Now what happens, as soon as I enter Loi Bazaar, it's like robotic. My hands go on my face, and my chashma goes into my pocket. Nobody has to tell me anymore. Even when I go to Radharaman temple, right away it just comes out automatically and goes back into my pocket. So these are the monkeys, because Krishna is so naughty, that naughtiness is there, and Krishna loves that. It is very amusing. Even though I would have lost my spectacles, I would have been happy. It was such an amusing sight to see. So these are the wonderful pastimes of even the Krishnas. And one time in Raj, this is another nice pastime I will tell you. What happened is, there was a hat seller, topi wala, is selling topis. And when they were selling topis, he used to sleep under one of the trees in some village of Raj. And when he woke up, all the hats were gone, because he was taking a nap, and all the monkeys took the hats, and they were wearing the hats and enjoying it. So this topi wala, what he did, he started, doing some things so that the monkeys, because monkeys like to imitate. So he did this, monkeys did that. He did this, monkeys did that. He did this, monkeys did that. He had his own hat, he threw his hat, and the monkeys threw all the hats. So he collected the hats and was a happy camper. He left. Now, a few decades later, it was a family business. His grandson came, and under the same tree, sleeping in the afternoon, all the hats were gone. So he remembered what his grandfather had told him. So he started doing this, monkeys did that. He started doing this, monkeys did that. He started doing this, monkeys did that. He threw his own hat, none of the monkeys threw the hat. None of the monkeys threw the hats. And suddenly one monkey came down and slapped him. You think only you have a grandfather? Meaning, your grandfather told you this story, our grandfather also told us. That this one hat keeper, that is how he retrieved all this. So basically the monkeys are getting smart. No more fruit, they want fruity now. No more 50 paisa banana, they want a 15 rupee fruity. So it is fact. Those bananas and oranges and apples don't work anymore on those same monkeys that used to work 10-12 years ago. Practically experienced. So, coming back to the Leela. Krishna is feeding them nicely, and he's enjoying, he's relishing, and then suddenly what is happening? All those monkeys are backing off. They're not coming. Generally when Krishna is offering, they all want it. Like supposing even in our personal experience, let's say some great person gives us some prasad, immediately we all want to go, and we all want to grab. Nobody goes reverse gear, right? Right? Supposing somebody is offering you, let's say your Guru Maharaj is there and he's offering you something, and there are so many God brothers and God sisters, they all want to get it. Nobody's like going to go back, right? So suddenly they are going in the reverse gear. Their car is going in the reverse gear. So Krishna is saying, "Lo, kya hua? What happened? What happened?" And then immediately he realized that Mother Yashoda, he looked back and he realized Mother Yashoda is coming with the stick. And that is the reason those monkeys and the crows were scared and they were scurrying away. And immediately Krishna jumps down the ukhal and starts running into the front yard. Now, it's amazing, Acharya's comments so nicely. Nanda Bhavan is very big. If you've gone to Gokul Mahavan, there is 84 khamba. Khamba means pillars. Today even the remnants are there of the 84 pillars. Now, for example, this house must be on 2 pillars in the basement. Do they have a supporting? Only one, yeah, because the other one is a town home, right? The other one is in the next one. So in my house there are 2. So can you imagine a 2,000-3,000 square foot house is on 2 pillars? And supporting means 84 pillars means how big Nanda Bhavan must be. So Krishna, if he wanted to escape inside the house and give the mother a good spin, he could have played good hide and seek into the into the palace. But he decided to go run into the courtyard. What is the reason? Our acharyas comment so nicely on that also. Our acharyas say that that's okay. Now our acharyas say that in Vraj there is a maryada. Those women generally they always have their veil, they have their pallu, even if they have to go out, and generally they don't see anybody directly if they're not their husbands. It is a fact. So Mother Yashoda, Krishna knows that Mother Yashoda won't follow me into the open without her veil, and if she puts her veil, then she won't be able to find me. And if we cover her face. So that is why he decides. He is very smart. Nobody can outsmart Krishna. He is the biggest cheater. So he cheated Mother Yashoda thinking that he will cheat. But Mother Yashoda says, oh, this is still early in the morning. Nobody is out there. I am determined to catch you. So she goes behind in the yard. So that is the determination. That should be the determination of a devotee. That Krishna, somehow or the other, I must catch you. I must get your grace. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Prabhupada said, this was one of his prayers. I must not let Maya take over. I must go on chanting the holy names. No matter what. Krishna, I must get your grace. It's a nice prayer that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Ji has he used to instruct in the Gaudiya Math. So that is the determination of Mother Yashoda. So when Mother Yashoda goes out, he is going and Mother Yashoda has got this nice ketki flowers in her braid and they are falling. Mother Yashoda is slightly heavy set, and Krishna being a baby, he is very agile, and he is running fast into the yard, and Mother Yashoda is going behind Krishna trying to catch Krishna, and the ketki flowers fall from her braid, and she is thinking, oh, these Vaishnavas. And she says, no, Maiya, go. Do your seva. Don't worry about us. Don't worry about us. There he is. He's in that corner. You continue. So Mother Yashoda then continues, and then she catches up with Krishna. So the first verse here. Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasata Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Bhiyu Lakhada Dhavamanam Paramrashta Matyanto Tato Dhrutya Gopya. Let's analyze this verse a little bit. Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam. Satyavrata Muni, who is the composer of this Ashtakam means 8 verses. He is saying that I offer my respectful obeisances or my pranams to that Ishwar, to that Supreme Lord who is in Gokule Brajamanam. Gokule Brajamanam, not Braj. I mispronounced. It should be Brajmanam. Braj means one, Hindi mein, Birajo. So one who is manifested with a lot of splendor, where that Supreme Personality of Godhead I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Lord who is magnificently, who is present in Gokul. Not Narayana, not Vishnu, not Ramchandra. They are also the Supreme Lords. That's Satchitananda Roop. Because they are also Satchitananda. Lord Narayana or any of the avatars of Krishna. They are also Satchitananda. They are full of knowledge, they are full of bliss, and they are cognizant about everything. Right? But I am only interested in that Satchitananda who is Gokule Brajamanam. Gokul is also, what does it Gokul mean? Go means cows, Go means gopis, Go means gopas, and Go also means senses of the devotees of the Brajvasis. And Kul means a conglomeration or a group. Right? I mean, in Hindi we use that word, right? Tumhara kul kya hai? Kaun se kul ke ho? Kul means a group or a dynasty in one sense, or a clan. Right? So Gokul. So Gokul. So I want to offer my obeisances exclusively. And that is the meaning of Sankirtan, that Samyak Kirtan, exclusive, dedicated to that Krishna who is in Gokul. Not any other Krishna. Even Prabhupada, if you have seen this, there are so many subtle things that we need to catch if we study the bhajans or even study the books. So many things that even Prabhupada has given us, but we just take it in the normal sense. Like the Prabhupada has directly said, when he sang this bhajan, Bhaja Ure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charana Ravindare. If you read the Vaishnava songbook, you take it out, in that's a reference again. Prabhupada says, when he starts, Bhaja Ure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana. There are many types of Krishna, but we are only concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj. What are the words? There are many types of Krishna. Yes, that may come as a shock to many of us. The Krishna that Vasudev took in his tokri or in that basket to Gokul when he appeared is not Yashodanandan Krishna. Yashoda actually in the Harivamsha, another reference. Harivamsha that was written by, and a commentary is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Bhag. Please try to pay a little attention here. In Harivamsha it is said that Yashoda gave birth to two. One to Yogamaya, the baby girl, and one to baby Krishna himself. And when he appeared in the jail of Kamsa, he is known as Vasudev Krishna. That is grammar. Like somebody whose mother Sita's name is Janaki, the daughter of Janakaraja. The son of Vasudev is Vasudev. He's not sometimes people mispronounce. They call him Vasudev. No, he's not Vasudev. Vasudev, when you say Vasudev, is you are addressing the husband of Devaki. But Vasudev is when you say Krishna. So that Vasudeva Krishna, when he is taken to Gokul, when he enters, Vasudeva actually, it is dark. By the Yogamaya, he does not see the little baby Krishna, that is Yashodanandan, born to Krishna, to Yashodaji. He actually leaves him by the bedside and he only sees the place where the Yogamaya baby is born. And he replaces her with that baby. But at that time, what happens, this Vasudeva Krishna actually merges into Yashodanandan Krishna. And when Akrur comes to take him to Mathura, at that time on the border of Vrindavan, that Vasudeva Krishna comes out and he goes to Mathura. And Yashodanandan Krishna never steps out of Vraj. All the demons that are killed by Krishna are actually, it's Vasudeva Krishna killing them, not Yashodanandan Krishna. So these are the finer nuances. So much details are given there. So this is so Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, even though apparently he disappeared, but he is there in his bhav state. He is there in the bhav state. He has never left Vrindavan. So these are very, very, finer nuances and the bhav. So even Vasudeva Krishna misses the bhav of Yashodanandan Krishna. That is why he becomes Jagannath. So again, these are different kathas. Why one time in Dwarka, Rohini Mata is talking about the different pastimes in Vrindavan, and she asked Subhadra, you guard the door, because if Krishna and Balaram come, and if they start hearing, then they will go into some kind of a samadhi, or they will not be able to bear the stories or the leelas. So she asked Subhadra to guard, and all the queens are sitting around Mother Rohini, and they are hearing the pastimes, and while she is also hearing, and because she can hear the voice, she goes into an ecstasy, and that is why Subhadra's hands are not there. They are inside completely, and her eyes become big. And when Krishna and Balaram come to the door, they see what happened to their sister, and they also, when they put the ear, they hear Rohini Mata speaking about Raj, and immediately they go into those kind of Ashtasattvik Vikar, and they go into that position where their limbs are going inside and their eyes grow big because of the transformation of that wonderful hearing of Raj. That is why Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Mani look like that. That is the reason, because out of ecstasy, just hearing about Raj, Krishna is completely absorbed, and he is in this Vipralamba bhav, or in the mood of separation. And that brings a lot of agony and a lot of pain, and it takes them to a very, very high level of state of consciousness, which is Vraj consciousness. Anyway, coming back to the Leela. Where was I? Huh?
No. Yashodamaya running.
Yashodamaya is running.
Ketki flowers.
Right. No, but there was an important point that I was mentioning about the Krishna being different from Yashodanandan, being different from Vasudeva Krishna. And why did I say that? Anybody remembers? What was the reason of bringing that? Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam. So your Satyavrata Muni wants to see that Krishna. Is not interested even in Vasudeva Krishna. Please try to understand. Like the Prabhupada said, there are many types of Krishna, but we are only concerned with the son of Nanda. We means Gaudiya Vaishnavas. That's the tattva. That's the philosophy. Exclusive devotion. Samyak meaning fully dedicated only to Yashodanandan, Nandanandan, Radharaman. That is the Krishna that we are interested in. So Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam. Lasada Kundalam. He has got these beautiful earrings that are so fortunate that they are frolicking on his cheeks. That is the roop. I want to see that roop. I want to see that beauty. That is what that is the beauty that I offer my obeisances to. So first verse, this whole Damodar Ashtakam is divided into 4 different components. What is known as, first of all, is known as Aishwarya Vishesha. Please repeat. Aishwarya Vishesha means he is acknowledging that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Namami Ishwaram. Ishwar means Supreme Controller and Satchitananda. That is the Aishwarya form of Krishna. He knows that he is the Supreme Lord himself. So that is Aishwarya Vishesh. Then he goes into Rup Vishesh. He is actually eulogizing Krishna first by offering his obeisances. He is pleasing Krishna. Secondly, he is talking about Krishna's beauty by glorifying his beauty. Like starting with this beautiful face that is being kissed again and again by the earrings that are touching his cheeks. Uddhav says, so Prabhupada also mentions this many times in his purports, that by decorating Krishna, the ornaments on Krishna doesn't make Krishna beautiful. It is because of Krishna the ornaments are beautiful. And that is exactly a shloka in the Bhagavad that Uddhav says. Same thing. So how fortunate those earrings are and how splendorous they are because they are on Krishna's cheeks. Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasada Kundalam. Where? Vaikunt? No, sure. Gokule Brajamanam. Only exclusively in Gokul. Who is splendorously manifesting his supremely beautiful pastimes. And Yashoda Abhiyulukar Dhavamanam, when he saw Mother Yashoda, he ran. Paramrashta, he was caught. Paramrashta means caught from behind. Atyanto Tato Dhrutya Gopya. When Mother Yashoda ran behind him. Now, when she caught Krishna, our Acharyas again comment that Mother Yashoda's love exceeded more than Krishna's in order to catch Krishna. There are so many devotees who want to catch Krishna. Even Surdas. In Raj, he is also a very nice devotee. But the intensity of Mother Yashoda's prem is even higher. Surdas, there's a nice time and there's a pastime when Surdas at night, he is singing the bhajan and Krishna appears as a little boy and he's all alone. Surdas is blind. So Krishna says, Baba, come, let me take you home. And he grabs the stick of Surdas. He grabs the one end of the stick and leads Surdas through the streets of Raj to take him home. Now when he reaches his home, Surdas, he suddenly realizes that this time of the night, no boy can come out. This is Krishna. He suddenly gets that realization and he gets that vision. So then he says, Acha Lala, ye bata, tu kahan se hai, kaun se gaon se? And he tries to strike a conversation with him. And slowly what he's doing while he's trying to distract Krishna, he's advancing his hand on his own stick so that he can hold the hand of Krishna, feel Krishna. So Krishna is, making up these nice, wonderful stories, and by the time when the hand almost touches Krishna, Krishna disappears. So to catch Krishna, it's not so easy. So the love, again, in this Damodar Ashtakam, when is the first time the love of Mother Yashoda exceeded? Does anybody remember? I will be asking a few questions also. When she put him down. 10,000 strength could not do that. Mother Yashoda could simply because her love exceeded. Second time, she was able to control Krishna because her love exceeded and catch Paramrishta Mattanto Tato Dutta Gopya. Now Krishna is caught. She has a stick in her hand, the same stick that she had, and when she came out from the kitchen into the room where he was feeding the monkeys and the crows. So when he sees that stick and he's caught, he starts crying. Rudantam muhur netra, yugmam mrijantam. Rudantam means crying Muhu means again and again, crying. But this tears are actually tears of crocodile tears. Because he sees a stick in the mother's hand and he's thinking, my mother is very soft-hearted. If I show those tears, Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Rijantam, and he is actually instigating tears by rubbing his eyes. If you rub your eyes very vigorously, tears will come out. So he does that. He's thinking that my mother is soft-hearted. If I do that, she will let me go. I will be scot-free. Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Rijantam Karamboje Yugmena, with his two beautiful lotus hands, Satanka Netram, and he's got a lot of fear in his eyes. He's showing fear. But Mother Yashoda is determined. A Vaishnava should always be determined to catch Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, but at the same time, Mother Yashoda is soft-hearted. She drops that stick. Acha Lala, you are scared. But I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go. She still holds on to him. She says, Lala, you're very naughty. I've been hearing all these every day. Gopis are coming and complaining. And today I practically saw that how you are breaking the pots. Who, tell me, what happened? Who broke the pot? Says Maya, who made that pot broke the pot. He gives those wonderful explanations. Very nice. So now philosophy is coming in. Acha, Lala, tu jhoot bhi bolne laga hai. Acha, sach bata kya hua Lala? What happened? Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Actually, Maya, what happened? That when you tried to pick that milk up in a rush, your ankle bells hit it. And you broke the pot, Maya. So, my God, Yashoda Maya is now very upset. How many lies? How many lies? Tell me the truth, Lala. Kana, tell me the truth. Says, okay, Maya, actually, you know what happened? I was guarding your sweet yogurt pot, but those monkeys came and I was guarding them. And they actually were trying to steal. Oh, they were trying to steal. Okay, then how did all that makhan come on your lips and on your face? Oh, I was trying to stop them and they slapped it on my face. So, this is the kind of stories in his very, very stuttering, totally bhasha. It's so amazing. So, he's giving all these wonderful stories and yarn to Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda is not satisfied. He says, you are a chore. Everybody calls you a chore in Gokul. Everybody. So he goes in a very cute manner. He says, Maya, I'm not the chore. But actually I heard that in your Vansha, from your father's side, there was one person by the name Chor Ghosh. In my father's side, in Nanda Baba's side, there is no chore. This was the last button he pressed. And she said, that's it. 2.5 years old only, and look what you're doing. As a mother, I have to teach you a lesson. I cannot let you go without any such. I have to show you that I have to correct you. That is my duty as a parent. So then she actually takes Krishna inside that same room. Now wondering why she took Krishna in the same room. Nanda Bhavan is very big. There are 84 pillars, or probably more. 84 are only showing now. She could have tied her anywhere. But Acharya is explaining so nicely. Takes her in the same room, and she then she starts talking to that Ukhal. You are Krishna, you are Khal, and your partner is Ukhal. Now Khal in Braj Bhasha, or in Hindi, it means cheater. Khal means cheater. So you are a cheater and your partner in crime is also a cheater. So you both will be tied together. Just like, we've seen it in India, or probably you have seen it in Pakistan, that when they bring the criminals to court, they handcuff one to one and they put the other handcuff to the other criminal and they parade them, right? They bring them in. True. So that's what Mother Yashoda said. Both of you are going to be punished. You are a partner in crime, Ukhal and Khal. So then she actually wants to tie him to Krishna. Now Krishna is really scared at that time now. He says, she's not going to let me go. So Rudantam Muhur Netra, Yugmam Rijantam, Karambuje Yugmena, Satanka Netram. That story happens in the yard. But the next part of the sloka, it happens in that room when she is about to tie him to the Ukhal. Muhusasha Kampa. And heavy breath. Muhusasa Kampan, he is trembling. Tirekhanka Kanta Sthita Graiva Damodar Bhakti Baddham. Tirekhanka, just like he's got this Graiva means this pearl necklace, and it has got a three threaded, like sort of three, like that of a conch shell, 3 rings around the conch shell. That's what Satyavrata Muni is so nicely describing. But before he gets Damodar Bhakti Baddham, she is trying to tie Damodar, and Damodar is not being bound. She actually takes ribbons from her hair and she tries to short. She takes another ribbon, same story. Now in the meantime, in the morning time, it is still, like that. This is the time when a lot of gopis come to see Nandarani, and a lot of gopas, they cannot live without Krishna. Even when they are little, they actually tell their mothers, Maya, dress me up quickly, Krishna is waiting for me. Because they have to meet every morning. Probably Mataji knows that wonderful bhajan that you may have learned in school in Gujarati from Narsi Mehta. Hey Jagne Jadva Krishna Govariya Tuja Vina Denma Kaun Jashe Trana Sene Sat Govar Tode Re Maria Vadore Govariyo Kaun Thashe. He's telling Mother Yashoda in the morning when she wakes up Krishna, the translation of this first line or first sloka of this bhajan is that Krishna, please wake up, O Yadava. Somebody who is born in the Yadukul. Please wake up. Jagre Krishna Govadiya. O Gwalbal Krishna, please wake up. O coward boy Krishna, please wake up. She's saying, Hey Jagne Jadava Krishna Govadiya. Tuja vina dhenama kaun jashere. Without you, nobody is going to go to herd the cows. Tranasena Sata Govar Todere Madia. 360 coward boys are waiting for you outside. In a toli. Just waiting for you. So please wake up. Oh Lala. Oh Krishna. Tranasena Sata Govar Todere Madia. Vadore Govadiyo Kon Thashere. Who will become the chief coward boy, the leader or the captain? So please wake up, O Krishna. So early in the morning, that after all these things happen, every day the gopis come to see Yashodamai, and the gopas, the little boys, they come to see Krishna. And especially the gopis came a little earlier that day because that Indra Yajna is going to happen. So they need to help Mother Yashoda in the cooking as well. So actually Mother Rohini and even Balram have gone to Upananda's place, and they are also coming back. Now the gopis are watching and is giggling, and they're seeing that this is so Mother Yashoda says, bring me some more ropes. So bring me the ropes that are there lying in the kitchen that are used for the mathaning, the rafters. So she brings those ropes, again 2 fingers short. All those ropes expired. She said, bring the ropes from the Goshala. And those also, 2 fingers are short. So the Acharyas explain, why is it that there are 2 fingers short? What is the reason behind it? The 2 fingers short because the first finger represents our own endeavor, our own sadhana. And the second finger will represent, as it sees that finally when Mother Yashoda is tired and she is perspiring and all the flowers from her braid have gone and all the gopis are laughing, and then she is saying, Oh Paramatma, ye kab bandega? When will I be able to tie him? So she actually surrenders at that time, and Krishna says, enough now. Now he again comes back to his own cognizance, and he says to himself, my mother, I do not want to embarrass my mother any further. She is tired. So out of love, Krishna, out of Mother Yashoda's love and Krishna's love for Mother Yashoda, Damodar Bhakti Baddham. So the second finger is Krishna's Kripa. So no matter how much sadhana we do, how much chanting or how much knowledge we may have or how much all the kinds of different sadhanas or practices that we do, unless and until we have Krishna's Kripa, we are nothing. We cannot actually, with our sadhana we can gain some extent, but you cannot control Krishna. You can get Vaikuntha Bhav. With our sadhana it is possible. But to be in the intimate pastimes of Krishna and to control Krishna, our love for Krishna has to far exceed, and his special kripa is required. Without his kripa, we cannot enter into his intimate pastimes and we cannot even control him. So Damodara Bhakti Baddham. The word Bhakti Baddham also has different meanings. As we progress into the Ashtakam, I will explain that. So Yashoda Abhiyulukha Davamanam Paranustam Atyanto Tato Rudya Gopya Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Rijantam Karam Moja Yugmena Satam Ka Netram. Then Mushashakampa Tirekhanga Ganta Stitagreva Damodar Bhakti Baddham. So the next verse is Satyavrata Muni is saying that in such a fashion, what's the next verse? Idriksa Leelavir. In such a way, Ananda Kunde. Idriksa Leelavir Ananda Kunde Swagosha Nimanjantam Akya Payantam. Swagosha Nimanjantam. In this way, Swagosh means Gokul. Swagosh means his own home. Swagosh. Also, Ghosh means to declare, and Ghosh means some kind of talks. What are the talks? Oh, where is Krishna? That cow has to be milked. Bring that pail of milk. It's all relating to the different talks that are happening in Gokul. Every day, the talks are all relating about cows, about gopas, about gopis, about Krishna. That is what is known as, one of the names of Gokul is known as Ghosh Palli. What is it called? Ghosh Palli. That is one of the names of Gokul. So Swagosha, Swa means his own home. See, Krishna can invite you to all the other, his office, his other places, but not in his own home unless and until you have that level of bhakti. So Swagosha, Nimanchantam, he drowns. Nimanchan means to drown. Nimanchantam, he drowns by such wonderful leelas, he drowns the residents of Gokul. Beautiful leelas. Krishna goes into the gopis' house and he's stealing butter. He gets caught. The gopi is saying, Krishna, what are you doing? He catches him. Maya, Lala, what are you doing? So he says, Maya, you call me Lala? Is it not? Yes. So what Lala? So again you call me Lala. So if I am your Lala, then you are my Maya? Haan, wo to hai. If you are my Maya, if you are my mother, then this is my house. Haan, wo to hai. Then this is my kitchen. Yes, it is. Then this is my butter pot. Yes, it is. And then that way, in his little 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, totally Vasha, he used to amazingly mesmerize those gopis and then suddenly get disengage himself and run away. And the gopis would simply wait for such beauty to come into their house. Sometimes Krishna would tell his cowherd friends, "Good, now we're going to steal butter in your house today." He would make a plan. And say, tell your mother, when we will ride behind that tree, and tell your mother that one of the calves got loose in the Goshala. That's what you need to tell your mother. And when she goes behind the calf, we will actually turn it loose. Then we will enter the kitchen and raid it. So that's what they would do. Sometimes Krishna, one gopi was very adamant of not giving Krishna anything. So when he came in, she made sure that everything was empty. So Krishna came in to steal. And then he didn't find anything. So the gopis boy was sleeping. He simply pinches him and runs away. So this is the kind of masti Krishna did. One time he went into one of the gopis' house to steal. He gets caught red-handed. He says, "What are you doing in my matki?" He says, "Maya, one of my little calves got into your matki." So, "Acha, show me." And then Krishna again through his Satchitananda potency, he takes out a little marble calf, toy calf, and shows it. "Maya, this is them." One gopi is so determined, I want to catch him, and Mother Yashoda never believes that he is stealing. She always says that I have 900,000 cows, I have so much butter in my house, why would he steal? And actually, there is a nice point Acharyas bring here. The gopis go to complain to Mother Yashoda, there is a nice reason behind it. Not because they want to really complain, they want to actually share the sweet pastimes of Krishna which she is missing out. Just like the Vaishnavas, like supposing if you go to a certain place, even in our practical experience, and you sitting with friends and you describe that place and your experience, or if you have something very nice that you've eaten for the first time, oh, it's so nice, you go to this restaurant, you order this thing, it's so nice, you describe it, right, you want to share it. So same way, the gopis wanted to share the sweet pastimes which Mother Yashoda was bereft of, what was happening in their houses, in the excuse of complaining. So this is the beauty and the reciprocation of Vaishnavas. They want to always, what is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? That they always want to relish yes, Tushyanti Ramanti cha. They always want to discuss the pastimes of Krishna and they always get full satisfaction. That is the reason why the gopis are complaining. So one time this gopi, she goes, catches Krishna red-handed and she says, your mother doesn't believe me, huh? I'm going to take you, I'm going to parade you through Gokul. So she catches Krishna, puts him under the veil and takes him and she starts, as she approaches Nanda Bhavan, Yashoda, Yashoda, Are Yashoda, kahan hai tu, where are you? So she says, Yashoda, ai, kya hai, kyun chilla rahi hai, why you? Today I caught your Lala red-handed. And when Mother Yashoda is walking outside, she is seeing in the bedroom, Lala is sleeping. There the Satchitananda potency again comes in and then, Are, तू कहती है मेरा लाला माखन कर मेरा लाला तो अंदर सोयो है बोला तू सोयो है अंदर यू स्लीपिंग इनसाइड तेरा लाला तो मेरे हाथ में है यहाँ अच्छा तो दिखा show me and when she opens that bit it happens that by Satchitananda potency it is her own son. So this is Idriksa Leela Virana. Krishna and Balram are so little, they are so sweet. Some gopis make two different teams. Why don't you both wrestle and I'll give you a laddu whoever wins. And they are like the sumos, patting their legs and their chest and they are fighting, doing this. So all these little sweet pastimes they are doing. Idriksa Leela Vir, Ananda Kunde. Ananda Kunde means in an ocean of bliss. In a kunda. Kunda means a nice lake or an ocean. Ananda Kunde, drowning. Idriksa Leela Vir, Ananda Kunde, Swagosha Nimanjantam, drowning. Akhyapayantam, Tadi Eshit Agneshur Bhaktir Chitatvam. Puna Premastam Satyavrata Muni. What is the meaning of the last two lines in that shloka? He says that Akhyapayatam means I want you all to know, Krishna is saying. By the way, this Damodar Ashtakam is a sort of a subtle conversation between Krishna and Satyavrata Muni. So Krishna is revealing to Satyavrata Muni that these Damodar Bhakti Baddham happens, I want to declare this to all my other devotees. Meaning who? Devotees who worship Narayana, devotees who worship Vishnu, devotees who worship Lord Rama, devotees who worship any other form of mine. Idriksha Leela Vir Ananda Swa Gosham Nimanjantam means, Ghosh also means to declare. And Nimanjantam means to drown. So Akhyapayantam meaning he is informing those devotees. Akhyapayantam, what is it? That I can only be bound by the love. I can be Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayatam Tadi Ishit Agneshu. Tadi Ishit means those who know that I am the Lord. Ishita means the Supreme Lord. Tadi Ishita Agneshu means knowledge. Tadi Ishita Agneshu, those who have knowledge of my supremacy, I want to declare to them that this is how I am bound in Gokul. And this is how I specially drown the residents in a pool of bliss in Gokul. Tadishit Agneshu Bhaktai Jitatvam. Bhaktai Jit means those souls or those devotees can win me. Bhaktai Jitatvam. Jitatvam means to win. Satyavrata Muni. I offer my hundreds and hundreds of obeisances to that Krishna in Gokul. To that Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, after saying that, what happens? Next verse. What is the next verse? Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Avdhimba. So Krishna is pleased. Krishna is pleased with Satyavrata Muni. So he is offering him, ask me a benediction, Vara. Varam Deva. One of the names of Krishna or the Supreme Lord is Varam Deva. Varam means benediction and Deva means the Lord of benedictions. Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Avdhimva. So Krishna is pleased saying, look, you know what? Hey Satyavrata Muni, you're a nice guy. You've been eulogizing me. You're telling me I'm the Supreme Lord. You are actually not only eulogizing me, but you're also eulogizing my Roop, which is Rupa Vishesha. But first was Aishwarya Vishesha, Rupa Vishesha, and then he goes into Parivar. He's also describing Mother Yashoda and the residents of Gokul. So Parivar Vishesha. So he's saying, look, this is really nice. What do you want from me? You're actually praising me so much, and not only praising me, you're praising my beauty, you're praising my family. Swagosha. Shwagosha. The Gopas, the Gopis, Mother Yashoda and all these pastimes. So okay, you know what, I'm very pleased with you. So he's telling, okay, Varamdev. Now he's calling him Varamdev. He's addressing Krishna as Varam, the one, the Lord who gives benedictions. Varamdeva, I will give you liberation, he says, Krishna. So Varamdeva moksham na. I don't want no liberation. Moksham avadim va. Amazing. He says avdim. Avdim means Vaikunt. I don't even want Vaikunt. Krishna is saying people are standing in line for moksha. People do dharma, artha, kama, moksha. When one does dharma, why do people do generally? Bhagavatam basically arised out of what? Because Vyasadeva actually was fired by Naradji. That what all you have done is just dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You have not basically gone into the deeper pastimes of the glorification of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Those people who already know this very nicely, you are actually basically fanning the fire. You are fanning the fire. People naturally do dharma. Most of the people do piety because they want artha. They want money. They take 1 rupee 25 paisa with a nariyal and they say, give me 1 lakh rupees. This is the kind of business they do with Krishna. So dharma say artha. And it is true. You get it. That is why people go to Balaji. Some of these big business magnates, they go there. They offer 1 crore rupee donations, 2 crores. They give 5 crore diamond necklaces. Because their portfolio, they see the previous portfolio was 20 crores, now it has increased to 40. And it happens. Because they have that bhav in that Krishna, he is the Vaikuntha Adhipati. And he gives it. So then they keep going. And they give him more. Actually, Balaji temple is the richest temple in the world. Richest. They say the treasure is so much that it is even beyond the treasury of Indian government. Seriously, if you count it. It's too much. Even in dollars, it is said. They have too much. So that happens. That miracle is happening. So, dharma se artha. You get artha. And when you have artha, money, kama. All your material desires are fulfilled. And your material desires keep increasing. Today, you are making $5,000. Tomorrow, you want 10. Then accordingly, your desires also increase. You're living in an apartment. Now you want your own townhouse. Then you want your single family home. That is not sufficient. You want an estate home. That is not sufficient. You want a vacation home. One in Switzerland, one in Mexico, or one in the Bahamas. So the kamnas, they keep on increasing. Dharma, artha, kama, and then finally what happens? Some people get tired. They are not getting 100% satisfaction. So what they do? Okay, give it to the children. I don't care. Industry, I don't want. I'll go to Haridwar, go to the Himalayas. I'll catch some Baba and I'll do some bhajan there. So it's all about me. I am doing dharma so that I can get artha. Well, I am doing artha so that I'm getting artha so that all my desires will be fulfilled. Material desires. And because even though I've got everything, I've got a Lamborghini sitting on my yard, in my front yard. I've got all these cars, I've got all these servants, but in spite of that, I'm not getting the full satisfaction in my heart. It is so true. The richer the people, most of them, they are very, very unhappy. Some of these people even commit suicide. They don't know what to do with their money. That money cannot buy them that happiness. Savai pumsam purodharmo yado bhakti radokshaje ahetukiya pratiyata jena atma suprasiddhati. What canto are you now right now when you are studying Bhagavad? Canto 1, which chapter? 15. Okay, so first canto, this verse you all went through. You are in the 15th chapter. Oh, so this verse is in the beginning. Savai pumsam purodharmo. The topmost dharma is yato bhakti radokshaje. Service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And what kind of service? Ahaitukiya pratiyata. It has to be uninterrupted and without any material motivation. Jena atma suprasid. Then that soul will be completely satisfied. So, with dharma, artha, kama, moksha, there's nothing to do with Krishna. It's about I. It's for me. I have all this, I'm not happy. Now I want moksha. Where is the service of Krishna? No service of Krishna. So, coming back to the main topic, where was I? Varamdeva moksha. So, he doesn't, moksha I don't want. Actually, moksha is considered narki of our Vaishnavas. This liberation that he is talking about is mostly the Mayavad liberation or the Brahmavad liberation where it is bereft of Krishna's service. Actually, this is such a beautiful sloka, I can go on for days on this. But I'll have to kind of, squeeze myself and give you the essence. So moksha. Varam deva moksham, moksham avdimva. And then, okay, fine, if you don't moksha, because in moksha there is no seva. In moksha, in liberation, the Mayavadi liberation, it is basically you get a place in Brahman, where there is a nice peace, bereft of the three moods of material nature, but then there is no actual seva there. There is no interaction, no seva. So he says, okay, fine, you know what? I'll give you something better. Krishna is telling Satyavrata Muni, I will give you Avdim. Avdim means Vaikuntha. Take Vaikuntha. No Vaikuntha either, Vaya. Krishna, no, I don't want that. Varam deva moksham na moksham avdimva na cha anye vrine aham vara shad apiya. Here again Krishna is being called as vara ishad. Var means again benediction, ishad means the controller. The controller of benediction, because he is the supreme one who can give us the supreme benediction. So he is saying na cha anye. Understand the meaning of anye. Anya means other things. And what is that? And when I read that for the first time, I was shocked. That Anya means the Nauda Bhakti. The Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, etc. that Prahlad is talking about, even that he rejects. Amazing. The Bhakti of Dhruva Maharaj also he rejects. The Bhakti of Prahlad he rejects. Varam deva moksham na moksham avdimva na cha anye. Any chanting, any smaranam, any vandanam, etc. the 9 processes that breaks me to Vaikuntha, I don't want it. Varishadapi, I pray. Then what do you want, my dear sir? Krishna is saying, asking Vrindavan. He said, Idam te vapurnatham gopalavalam sada me manasi avirashtam kivanye. I want only, exclusively that vision or that swarup of that Gopal Bal. That in Gokul. Nothing else. So amazing. Then the next verse. He says, what's the next verse? Idam te mukham bojam atyanta nile vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya. So idam te mukham bojam. Now again, Satyavrata Muni is trying to please Krishna even further. Because he has rejected moksha, he has rejected Vaikuntha, he has rejected Naudavakti. So he wants what he wants. So here his greed is increasing. His greed is increasing and he's saying, Idam te mukham bhajam, this beautiful face of yours, atyanta nilayar, with this beautiful bluish complexion. Idam te mukham bhajam atyanta nilayar, vritam kuntalai snigdha raktais. The wonderful curly hair that you have, that have a bluish hue with a reddish hue. With a reddish hue, raktais. That encircling your beautiful face. Muschumbitam bimba rakta dharame. Manasya virashtam alam lakshalabhe. He's saying that face that is encircled by the soft hair, curly hair with a reddish hue, that is being kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda. And Gopya here means not only Mother Yashoda, it also means, please try to understand, the gopis. Now his greed has increased. First, he is talking about just the vision of the Gopal Bal. But now he wants also that same feeling that he wants to also kiss him. So greed is a good thing when it is applied in Krishna consciousness. In Padyavali, Rupa Goswami says that what is the payment of pure bhakti? Just like everything that you have to buy, you have to pay money, right? Right? You buy fruits and vegetables in the shop, you pay money. You have to go to India, you have to buy a ticket, you have to pay money. Everything you have to make a payment, right? So what is the payment of pure bhakti? What is the payment for pure bhakti? So Rupa Goswami says, Mulyam ekam lolyam. Please say everybody. Mulyam ekam lolyam. The mulyam means the price, the purchasing price. Ekam means only, and lolyam means greed. So, and he says, wherever you find it, purchase it immediately. Thakur Bhakti Vinod was quoting this sloka many times. Yes, very nice. You know the whole sloka. Shri Krishna Bhakti Rasavadita. So wherever you find it, immediately you should purchase it. Even in our Mangalarti, what is that? Shri Radhika Madhava Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namnam Pratishana Swadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charnaravinda. Lolu. The Gurudev, the pure devotee, our acharyas have that greed of always narrating the sweet pastimes of Radha Madhav. Guna, Rupa, Nam. Their transcendental qualities, their beautiful beauty, and their holy names. They have constant greed. Lolupasya. So if that greed is not there, we will not advance. That greed is required. So that greed enters into Satyavrata Muni and he says, I would like to have this desire. Alam laksha labhe. Even if you give me, stop, you don't have to give me any more benedictions, don't even bother with it, Krishna. Even if you don't, alam laksha labhe. Alam laksha labhe means thousands of benedictions are no use to me. Oh Krishna, this is my desire. So now the next verse. In the next verse, what is the next verse? Then Krishna actually, in this conversation while this is happening, Krishna disappears. Just like Krishna disappeared in Vrindavan when they are doing Ras Leela in Gopi Geet. That is why the Gopi Geet, the gopis are singing. Right? So, here Krishna disappears and he is praying with Sankirtan. Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. He is calling out the different names of Krishna. O Namo Dev, O Krishna, O Deva, O Supreme Lord, Deva Damodar, Ananta Vishnu, the unlimited Vishnu. Now here one may think that he has already entered into the Vatsalya Ras and he is also thinking about the prem of the gopis by using the word Gopya. Mus Chumbitam Bimba, Raktas Dharam Me. So this kissing of the Mother Yashoda and the kissing of the gopis, why is he talking about Vishnu? He's going to Vaikuntha. He has rejected Vaikuntha a long time. So it's an interesting question, right? So that Vishnu here actually means Krishna himself. How is it? The Vishnu means, in the actual meaning of Vishnu means all pervading. One who is present everywhere. If you translate that into Sanskrit, that word is Vishnu. One who is, just like we say in English, God is omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient. So one is omnipresent, one is present everywhere. Like Prahlad Maharaj said, Hiranyakashipu asked him, is he present in this pillar? Yes, he is present here. Omnipresent. That is why he is known as Vishnu. Vishnu means one who is present everywhere. So this Vishnu that he is talking about is that Krishna who is present everywhere in Vraj. He is present simultaneously sometimes. In Vraj there are different prakostas. Those who have seen my presentation, I think Bhagavad Prabhu, you've seen it, right? That creation, right? And I don't know if others who else have seen it here. In that, when you go to Golok, Golok is comprising of different petals, or they are known as prakostas. And in those prakostas, there are different leelas of the Lord happening simultaneously. So if one wants Krishna as his baby boy, in the Vatsalya Ras, Krishna never grows up. There is a certain group of devotees that are actually encapsulated in that particular petal of Golok or in that prakosta where Krishna always remains a certain age, he never grows up. Nimesharda kyova vrajati na yatrapi samaya bhajistveta deepam tamahamiya golokamitiyam vidantaste santa shiti virada chara katipaye Shriyakanta kanta parama purusha. It's a very nice verse. If you analyze Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada's purport in it, there's so many wonderful things in that 55th or 56th verse of Brahma Samhita. So in those prakostas, Krishna is simultaneously present. Supposing somebody is loving Krishna in the Madhurya Ras, like the gopis, then he always stays the Kishore Krishna. Always the young boy Krishna. So, and some more Krishna if they want just Krishna as his coward friend and of a certain age, then they always relish those pastimes. So Krishna, so therefore this Krishna is simultaneously present in Golok in different prakostas and visiting Leela. So that is why he is known as Vishnu. That is why, so Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. Please be Prasiddha, please be happy with me. Prasiddha Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. I am immersed in a lot of pain because you have disappeared. Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. You have disappeared. That is why he is doing Nam Sankirtan. That is why he is doing Nam Sankirtan. He is trying to please Krishna. Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. I have to finish this. Shall I finish or no? Everybody tell me. I'll take a vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Finished.
Alright, Krishna. Dukkha jalabdi magnam. And here dukkha means, also our acharyas explain, what is the biggest, Rai Ramananda was asked this question by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the biggest misery or the unhappiness or dukkha? Dukkha means, what is the right word for it in English? The sadness or sorrow. Sorrow for a devotee. Mahaprabhu is asking wonderful, Rai Ramananda Mahaprabhu Sambad is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very nice Sambad. And Rai Ramananda is Vishakha Sakhi himself. Rai Ramananda is Vishakha Sakhi. So Mahaprabhu is asking this question. What is the biggest dukkha for a devotee? So Rai Ramananda is saying the biggest dukkha for a devotee is when that devotee is bereft of Vaishnava association. When that person is bereft. Otherwise Vaishnava is never dukkhi. Para dukkhe dukkhi. Because he knows he is not this body. He knows he has Krishna, he has so many, but if he doesn't have association, that is the biggest sorrow for a devotee. So here also it means that please grant me the association of Rajvasi in Braj. His greed is increasing now. Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. I am Jal Abdi means this net of ocean, which is this material world. I am drowning in this material world. Jalabdi Magnam. Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Batanu. Please mercifully glance at me, at this servant of yours. Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Batanu. Grihanesha Maamagyam Eri Akshidrishya. I am so ignorant, I am such a fool, but please grant me your darshan. Because again, Krishna disappears. Just by the Nam Sankirtan brought them back even in the Ras Leela. So now he has actually entered sort of into that realm from Vatsalras to the Madhuri Ras. He is coming there. Now, the next verse. Kuveratma jao baddha murtava yadvad taya mochito bhaktir bhajav kritacha tatha prema bhakti sukam viprayacha na mokshi grihamasti damodarya. Very beautiful this verse also. So now Krishna coming back to the Leela. You all might be wondering why I love the Leela. I was waiting for this verse. So now Krishna is tied. Finally, Mother Yashoda's love, the 2-finger shot the drama is over, and Mother Yashoda ties him up and says, Krishna, you have to say, I have a very busy day today, and I can't afford any more nonsense from you. I have to prepare. All my Gopi friends have come, and I have to prepare for the Indra Yajna. I have to go to the kitchen. So, Khala and Ukkal, you're both punished. She goes. Now, Rohini Mata comes a little bit later from Upananda's house, and she goes straight to the kitchen because she knows she needs assistance, the Mata Yashoda. And here Balaram is hearing all this kolahal, that noise coming from that particular room where nobody goes in that room generally, especially the coward boys, etc. So he's sort of wondering what is happening. So when he goes inside the room, he sees Krishna is crying. Especially when he sees Balaram, he cries even more. And he cries, and then Balaram is thinking, what happened here? Who did this to him? Balaram is very angry. Balaram is always protective of Krishna. Always, remember, even wherever Krishna goes, Balaram is always there. The moment he was born, Balaram came as Seshnath to protect. When he appeared and when Vasudeva took him, crossing the Yamuna, of Krishna. He is actually known as the Samdini Shakti. What is he called? Krishna himself is Samvit Shakti, and Radharani is Haladini Shakti. And all the manifestations of Krishna that happen in the material and the spiritual world is through Balaram. Including Vasudeva Krishna, he is an expansion of Balaram. Krishna in Golok, he expands first simultaneously. If you remember that presentation, he simultaneously expands himself on the left as Haladini Shakti Radharani, and on the right as Baldev. And from Baldev, Vasudeva Sankarshan Pradyumna Aniruddha in the first quadruple expansion. And from the Sankarshan of the first quadruple expansion, again another quadruple expansion, Vasudeva Sankarshan Aniruddha. Vasudeva Pradyumna Aniruddha Sankarshan. And then from that Sankarshan, that is in the second quadruple expansion, the different Narayanas and the Purusha avatars, including Mahavishnu, he appears. And then from Mahavishnu, Shirodaksai Vishnu, Garbhodaksai Vishnu, Shirodaksai Vishnu, etc., etc. So all the different avatars, including Vasudeva Krishna, he is an expansion of Lord Balaram. So Balaram is very protective of Krishna. Immediately he is angry, he says, who did this to? Because he knows nobody can tie Krishna. Even when they are playing. Nobody can tie Krishna. So who did it? He's extremely, his eyes are bloodshot. And again, he is showing his Satchitananda potency here. Balaram. Because Balaram is not different from Krishna. He's got all those potencies. Let's not forget that. And then immediately Madhumangal comes and says, Dau Maya, Yashoda Maya ne. Oh, and he backs off. So previously, before Mother Yashoda goes inside the kitchen, before even Balaram arrives, he's telling all his sakhas, his coward boyfriends, that can you untie me? And they're trying to untie the knot, but they can't untie the knot. And then Balaram goes to do that too. And Balaram also can untie. So there's a nice philosophy behind it. Why so? Because they are in the Sakya ras, and the knot has been tied in the Vatsalya ras. So the Vatsalya ras is a higher, it's a specialty, it's more intense than the Sakya ras. Therefore, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, Bal means he's got so much strength, spiritual and otherwise. He's got so much bal that every Brahmand is on his hood. This gravity that we see, we call it Sankarshan. Now Sankarshan is basically what? It is Balaram's energy. And Balaram actually is on his hoods. All the universes are there. Even that personality could not untie the knot of Krishna. So anyways, then they decide, okay, let's play. And they finally try to pacify Krishna, and they take him out into the yard, sometimes pushing Krishna. Krishna is tugging along with that ukkal. And then while they are playing, they are going around in circles in between the tree. And then Krishna also goes in between those. There's two trees, the Arjun trees in the courtyard of Nanda Baba. And Krishna goes there and he gets stuck with the motor in between the two Arjun trees. And when those Arjun trees, when he tugs a little bit, immediately those two huge trees, they are really huge, they fall down. They were actually two different branches that become two trees, and they fall down when Krishna is stuck in between. So, and there was a tremendous sound in Gokul. It was like really tremendous, that sound. And two personalities came out, wonderful, godly personalities, very, very like Devata, and they circumambulated Krishna and they eulogized Krishna with a lot of prayers. And they actually were speaking this wonderful transcendental prayers. So, here the sloka comes in now, the seventh. Kuver Atma Jao Baddha Murtaiva Yadvat. Kuver Atma means the sons, and Kuver means the treasurer. Kuver. The sons of Kuver, Kuver Atma Jao Baddha. They were tied. They were actually, Baddha means they were tied in the form of the tree. Murtaiva Yadvat. Although you were tied, you relieved them. Although Krishna, you are tied. So there, the Damodar Bhakti Badam has, from the first verse, or right, the second verse, what is the Damodar Bhakti Badam, that's the second verse, right?
Second.
Mushashakampa Trirekhanga Kanta Stitagraiva Damodar Bhakti Badam. Second verse. The Damodar Bhakti Badam has another meaning here as well. What is the meaning here? Kuber is actually a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Krishna. Vaishnavana Yatha Shambhu. So Krishna, he says that these are the sons of Kuber. You know, and Kuber is my devotee's devotee. Krishna says in the Bhagavad that Aham Bhakta Paradhino. I am controlled by my devotees, I am defeated by my devotees, and one who is the devotee of my devotee is my devotee. So he remembers that wonderful Shiva devotee, his own devotee Shiva, and Shiva's devotee is Kuber and Kuber's sons. So he said, I must relieve them from this agony of being these trees. Kuber Atma, and at the same time, that is Bhakti Baddham. That is Bhakti Baddham means, he said, I'm Baddha hu in Hindi. Means I am bound by my devotee's word. So that is why he was bound by the love of Lord Shiva. That is why he granted this wonderful what do you call, the relief of these two sons from the tree body. And also, Naradji. Here Naradji comes into the play too. Naradji had actually cursed these two devotees. You all know the story, that how they were misbehaving and they not even respected a great Vaishnava like Naradji, right? So they were cursed. But at the same time, while they were cursed, they prayed to Naradji. Naradji, please forgive us. This is a big mistake we did. So he said, okay, fine. You know what I can do is my curse is already gone, but I will give you the benediction that you will be able to see. You will be born in the house of Nanda Baba in the courtyard, and you will be able to see the wonderful pastimes that are not even available to Shiva, Brahma, or Lakshmi Devi. So at least I can, and not only that, Krishna himself will relieve you from this body. And not only that, Kuberatma jau, Baddha Murtava Yadvat, Taya Mochitau, Bhakti Bhajokrita. He not only gave them liberation, but he gave them his own bhakti and residence in Gokul. Toya Mochi, this is how he was. He is so much in Bhakti Baddha, word of Narad, and his one devotee, Lord Shiva. That is why he said, Bhakti Baddha. I'm not only give them liberation so that they can go back to the heaven, because they live in heaven, in Swarga. But I will give them residence in my own home in Gokul. And why he is saying this? What's the verse? Kuveratma jau baddha murtaiva yadvat taya mochitau bhaktir bhajakrito chak. Bhajakrito means you gave them residence in Gokul and your bhakti. Two things you gave them. You not only gave them liberation, but you gave them residence and devotion to you in your own home, Gokul. Bhajakrita tatha prema bhaktim swakam me prayacha na moksha grihasti damodareha. So he is desiring that just like I am also fallen. In the previous verse he says, right? What is he saying in the previous verse, the last line? What is the last line of the previous verse? Dinam batanu. I am fallen. They were also fallen. Just like a good lawyer, when he fights in court, he takes the assistance of law books and previous cases. What he does is, he quotes a case in 1975, dear Mr. Judge, such and such case versus such and such case happened on such and such a day, and this is the verdict that such and such a judge gave, and here is a similar situation. So I beg for the same kind of judgment that judge gave. So he's saying, I am fallen, they were also very fallen. So please consider me. Tatha prema, and I'm only asking one thing. You give them liberation. Now moksha grihasti damodareha. I don't want any moksha damodar, but just give me this wonderful prema bhakti of yours. Tatha prema bhakti swakam me prayacha now moksha grihasti damodareha. This is the beauty of this. So obviously they get this residence, and not only that, these two sons, Managriva and Nalaguvera, they actually became residents of Gokul, and they were known as Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. They are the Gopas, Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. Every morning in our Prakritya Gokul, this is Prakritya, meaning the Bhaumya, but there is a Golok Vrindavan, there is a Gokul in there. Every morning, even today, it is said in Gopal Champu that in the morning when Nanda Baba wakes up, Nanda Bhavan, these two and the Rajvasis, they gather around, the Golokvasis or the Gokulvasis, they gather around Nanda Baba's house. When they wake Krishna up, this active pastime is going on. Snigdakanta and Madhukanta come and they narrate the different pastimes of Krishna. They sing it very nicely. Like Love and Kush, they used to sing it, right? In Ramayana, same way. They sang different pastimes of Krishna. And they also mentioned this Damodar pastime in one of the... And so, Nanda Baba innocently asked, then who are these two personalities? Where are they? So, they say, it is us, Maharaj, that your son graced us with. Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. So, there is a tumultuous sound. Nanda Baba is taking a bath in Brahman Ghat, not too far from there. The Gopas are also there. Mother Yashoda suddenly and all the gopis, they rush out of the kitchen and they see Lala in between with the two trees. He is simply crawling and with still the okhal on him. And Mother Yashoda is completely dumbstruck. She is becoming like a statue. She can't even speak a single word. She's thinking, what would have happened if this huge trees would have fallen in my Lala? Just the thought of that made her into a statue. Nanda Baba comes, he comes and he sees the child right there, is Lala in between. He immediately picks him up and the moment, and Krishna is playing. He's having fun. Right? And he's also, listening. He just listened to the prayers of the sons of Kuer, and then when he sees Baba, he starts crying again. Children are like that, right? Sometimes Mama, chastises, then immediately Mama ignores, and then they start playing and doing other things, and when Papa comes in, they suddenly burst into tears. This is what Krishna did. And immediately Nanda Baba, first thing he did is he untied that knot. So that knot was completely untied immediately because it was tied in Vatsalya Ras, and Nanda Baba was able to relieve him because he is also in Vatsalya Ras. That's why immediately, without any hesitation, without any struggle, he was able to untie, and he took Lala in his arms. Lala was crying. He's not answering Baba's. What happened? He's not answering. He's crying more and more. And then Nanda Baba is asking the Gopas, what happened? Oh, nothing, Baba. We were playing, and he was stuck in between, and the trees fell, and two devatas came out, and they started circumambulating him, and they were saying something, and Baba said, okay, just brush them off. What kind of stories? So then, slowly, Baba is pacifying Lala, and Lala is saying, who did this to you? And then he was still sobbing, points to Mother Yashoda. He points to Mother Yashoda. Baba is very angry at Mother Yashoda. He stops talking to her that whole day, and he says, okay, Lala, let's go. First thing we'll do is, we'll go to the Yamuna and give you a nice bath. Get all the inauspiciousness away from you. See, this is the love. And they go take him, takes both Krishna and Balaram on both the shoulders, take him, has a nice bath in the Brahman Ghat, bring him back, and then now Mother Yashoda and all the gopis are still very grief-stricken. All the activities in the kitchen have stopped, the cooking has stopped, there is no food in the house. And they are hungry, the boys. So Nanda Baba, what he takes, take them straight to that Goshala, that little Goshala in the house, and puts the udder of the cows into their mouth and feeds them. Have you seen that picture? Never? There's a nice picture, I've seen it in my childhood, that Krishna Balaram directly taking milk from the cow's udder. So it's probably from this Leela. And then gives them a nice khadi sagar, meaning the sugar candy, misri. Baba gives them, pacifies them, and then it's getting late in the day. Baba says, now that you have been satisfied with something in your stomach, you want to go to Mother Yashoda? Then no. So then who will you play with? So Balaram was also there. Rohini Mata was also there. Rohini Mata is also telling him, Chalo Baba, come to Maiya. He's like, you stay away from me. Where were you when I was crying all this time? So then, Rohini Mata is then a little bit later is telling Balaram, you take Dao. Kanhaiya ke Dao, you take him to Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is still like a statue. She has no senses at all, the way she is, So he kicks Balaram. You could not even do anything to relieve me. So Acharya's comment so nicely. If Balaram would have been in the Madhuri Ras, which is Ananga Manjari, Radharani's sister. Radharani's sister, Balaram has in the Gopi Bhav, he's also is an expansion, Ananga Manjari. Then he could have immediately opened that knot. Because it's in the Madhuri Ras. But Balaram so Balaram also is scared now. He doesn't want to go to. So Baba says, then who will you sleep with? Baba, I will sleep with you. Who will you play with? I will play with you. Then Baba is saying, okay, Baba, that's what you want. Then suddenly Mother Rohini comes back again and says, look, your mom has not eaten anything. Maiya has not eaten anything all day. And look at her situation. What happens if she would die? Immediately when the word die came in her mouth, Lala jumped from Nanda Baba's hands and went, Maiya! And he started crying and went back into her lap. And Mother Yashoda, then she is revived. And all the gopis are crying. Nanda Baba is crying. Whole of Gokula is crying. The elders are trying to pacify them. And then they had a nice feast. So this is the actual Leela of the Damodar Leela. Coming to the last verse now. So, Kuberatma Javabaddha we are done. Now, Satyavrata Muni has entered into from Vatsalya Ras, he has entered into the Madhurya Ras, the topmost Ras, or the mellow. He is saying, first of all, he said, Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. Now the word Damodar here also means, Dam means rope or something that you tie, and Udar means stomach. This Damodar was also tied by the gopis. Sometimes when he would come late into the Kunja of Radharani, or he would go to Chandravali's Kund, and he would not show up, and when they would catch him, they would tie him. So they tie him to Radharani's Achal, on his stomach. So now you are not going away from our Pran Sakhi. So that is why also he is known as Damodar. Alright. So Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. And Ananta Vishnu means again the unlimited Krishna in Goloka, who is sometimes the baby Krishna, sometimes he is our lover of the gopis, sometimes he is the Sakhas. He is simultaneously present and is doing all those leelas in Goloka simultaneously. Not that Krishna is the 14-year-old Krishna with Radharani, though he is not there, the 7-year-old Krishna with Yashoda. There is a proportion in Gokul that continuously he is always in that. Nimesh ardha kyova vrajati yatrapi na samaya. The time comes to a standstill. It doesn't move. It's not like here that time is always ticking. There time comes to a full stop. Nimesh ardha, not even for half a, Nimesh means half a blink. When you blink, right? The time it takes, how much time does it take to blink? Even half a blink is Nimesh ardhakyo. Ardhakyo means half. So the half a moment, not even for half a moment, the time in Golok is advancing. Whatever your rasa is with Krishna, he always remains. So Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. Prasiddha Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi, he says that, right? The same thing. He has that feeling that now in Namaste tu Damne Sfurat Dipti Bhavne. I offer my obeisances to the Dham. Why? Because Sfurat Dipti Dhamne, it is Sfurat Dipti means manifest splendorously, and Dipti means most effulgent. Why is it effulgent? Because it is the concentrated love of Mother Yashoda. So I offer my obeisances to the love of Mother Yashoda, and I offer my obeisances to the love of the gopis. Because that Dham is also the love of gopis. Only gopis. When gopis tied a knot to Krishna, not 2 fingers short, right away. Krishna was tied right away, no escaping. Mother Yashoda had to perspire. So Namo Deva Namaste tu Damne Sfurat Dipti Dhamne. Tvadiya Udarayatha. I offer my obeisances to your stomach as well. Why? Tvadiya Udarayatha Vishwasya Dhamne. It is the seed or the resting place of the entire creation. Not the world, entire creation, spiritual and material. Namaste tu Dhamne, Sfurat Dipti Dhamne, Tvadiya Udarayatha Vishwasya Dhamne, Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya. Now he is right into that Leela of where he is aspiring into the Gopi Bhav, where he is always admiring Radhika. All the gopis always glorify Radha. Radha first and then Krishna. So now he is glorifying, he is doing the full-fledged Bhav. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya. Tvadiya means your personally. Tvadiya. Tvadiya means your own. Priya means your own, somebody who is very, very dear to you. I offer my obeisances to Radhika. Because he also wants to be a part of that close-knit Gopi group. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya. Namo Ananta Leelaya Devaya Tubhya. What is that Ananta Leela mean? Ananta Leela in general terms means he is doing so many Leelas. It could be in the form of Narayana, it could be in the form of Nrsimhadev, it could be in the form of Vamandev, so many, Varadev, Namo Ananta Leela. But that's not what he's meaning here. That Ananta Leela means Ras Leela. Our Acharya explained so nicely. Leela doesn't mean, the Ras Leela doesn't necessarily mean the one that is the dance. Not necessarily. That Ras Leela, Ras means Ras. Means the Madhurya Ras Leela. When Krishna is going in the kunjas, sometimes Radharani is crying, sometimes he is making Radharani laugh, sometimes he is combing Radharani's hair, sometimes he is decorating his Shringarvat. So many. So these are all known as Ras Leela. So Namo Ananta Leela, he is doing all these wonderful Leelas in the Madhurya Ras. Namo Ananta Leelaya. And Leela, our Acharya has explained, is a wonderful meaning of the word Leela. Lee, in Sanskrit, one of the meaning is, Lee means to embrace. Li means to embrace and La means to accept. So Krishna accepts the embraces of the gopis. Namo Ananta Leelaya Devaya Tubyam. I offer my respectful obeisances to that Radharaman, to that Madhuri Ras Krishna who is with the gopis, with Radharani. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki.
It does mean that Madhurya Ras is higher than the Vatsalya Ras also.
Okay. It's a good question, and I have been personally cautioned by one very advanced devotee when I was discussing that these are specialties. We should never consider that a particular ras is lower. At the same time, it is like an achintya veda veda tattva. I cannot say that Yashoda Mother, and the answer to that is very easy. The answer to that is, somebody may love their father and mother, right? Somebody loves their wife, somebody loves their children. All those love is different, at the same time special. True or not?
Yes.
The love that you have for your wife is not the same towards your parents. But the love that you have towards your parents is not the same towards your kids. The love that you have towards your kids is not the same towards your wife. But in one sense, all the other three rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, are kind of encompassed in Madhurya. And it's so simple. From practical example, we can say, supposing, let's say, if you are very sick and your wife sometimes acts like a motherly love. She will caress you like you're a baby, giving you the medicine, even spoon feeding you, right? If you don't have that energy. So that rasa is there. She's also serving you. The servitorship is there. And she's also your best friend. True or not? So it's a specialty. We should never, because otherwise what will happen is we will commit some kind of an offense towards the other rasas. That yes, we have to always remember that these are specialties and there are different types of loves and they are all great in their own respects. So whatever our bhav is, that will be manifest. Ado Shraddha. First we have the faith. Tatho Sadhu Sang. Then we do Sadhu Sang. We go to the temple. Initially we just entered the temple, we just bow down our heads some point. Then we had some Vaishnava association, some sadhu came to you, gave you a book, talked to you nicely, Sadhu Sangha. Then what happened? Then Bhajana Kriya. Then they told us, if you want to advance in your spiritual life, this is what you need to do. This is what you should avoid. This is what you should do. Do's and don'ts, like a good doctor. If you have a disease, he will tell you, this is the diet you have to take and this is the diet that you avoid. So the 4 regulative principles Prabhupada gave. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex and no gambling. So these are the don'ts. Right? And then what you should do? Prabhupada didn't just wake up one day and said these 4 things you shouldn't do. So many people in Sanatana Dharma, they don't preach these things. Because they are not convinced about it. Prabhupada always gives you as is. This is a shloka from the Shastra. Everybody say this. Triyam, Dutam, Panam, Shunam, Yatra, Adharma, Chaturvida. These 4 things. Triyam, having association with the opposite sex out of wedlock. Panam, meaning intoxication. Shunam, meaning meat eating. And Dutam, meaning gambling. Yatra, these. Adharma, they are against religious principles. Chaturvida, these 4. Striyam, Dutam, Panam, Shunam, Yatra, Adharma, Chaturvida. This is the slogan in the Shastra. But that is why he gave. When he came to New York, already Ramakrishna Mission was there. And when he was a Bengali, he went there, he visited. The Ramakrishna Mission people told they were eating meat, fish and everything. So they said, Swamiji, if you give them your Vaishnava message, nobody's going to listen to you. This country also in winter, you have to even take little brandy. So Prabhupada said, no, look, I am here to give something pure. Like somebody, not many people want a true diamond. A real diamond, if you go to buy a 2-carat solitaire, how many people can afford? It's going to cost you $30,000. And imitation diamonds, you go to any store, there's so many people buying it for this cubic zirconias or what you call American diamonds for 10 rupees, $10 you can get earrings and you can get so many. So you have more customers for that, but for the real diamond only there is few customers. True or not? So I'm here to give the true thing. If they want to accept it, it's okay. If not, that's there. But I'm not going to change my philosophy. I'm not going to, as it is, I'm going to give. So, coming back to the point, that is, that pure bhakti is given by our acharyas based on Shastra, do's and don'ts. So these are the four things you don't do. Then what do? Associate with devotees. This is what Mahaprabhu said. Read Shastras like Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Do Archa Vigra in your house. Whether you have a nice beautiful deity or you can have a picture, do seva of that. Dhamvas, Mathuravas. Mahaprabhu said, when you get time, we always get vacation time, we get off time, go to the different tirthas and chant the holy name. These 5 things Mahaprabhu had encapsulated for the do's and don'ts. So when we do this, we advance. So Ado Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sang Bhajan Kriya. When this Bhajan Kriya happens, then Anartha Nivritti, all that is there within our heart will be slowly dissipating. After Anartha Nivritti, the next stage comes is Nishtha. When you come to Nishtha stage, then you are completely, like whether it's raining, snowing, whatever happens, no, I have to go to the temple, I have to attend satsang. That is Nishtha. Ruchi, then the taste comes. The real taste. Nobody has to prompt you. You don't have to put your mind. No, today is raining, I am not going, but no, I will go because I have my Nishtha. But Nishtha stage is one step below Ruchi. Your taste is so much that you don't have to tell it naturally happens to you. Ruchi. Then Asakti, you are so attached. You are attached to a particular seva, you are attached to a particular component, you are attached to a particular, but that attachment is there, that Asakti. And then after Asakti comes the Bhav stage. That Bhav stage, when it will be revealed that what is the particular attraction that you have for Krishna. Whether you love him as a baby, whether you love him as your lover, whether you love him as a friend, that is the Bhav stage. And then after Bhav is Prem. And Prem also has different delineations. There is Snigdha Prem, there is Man Prem, there is Pranaya Prem, then there is Rag, Anurag, and then Mahabhav. Even in Mahabhav is for the gopis who are within the very close limits of Radharani. And Radharani has got the exclusivity in Mahabhav. There is a prem called Madanakya Bhav. That is only for Radharani. Nobody can get that. So, these are the different stages that we are. So, that all these stages will, our goal is not to control Krishna, but Krishna wants to get control. So, we are actually aiding in his pleasure when we enact those pastimes along with him. Krishna is Atmaram. Why will he need your bhoga? Why will he need love? But even he himself is dying for this because that is exclusive property of Krishna. That is part of being Bhagavan. That is part of being Bhagavan. You cannot limit Bhagavan. Some people say, they argue, खास करके जो मायावाद है, he is Atmaram. Atmaramscha, the Atmaram verse in the Bhagavad, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he actually was a Mayavad and he was giving the entire Vedanta philosophy and he explained Atmaram verses in 17 ways. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without touching those 17 ways, he explained it in another 29 ways. Something to that, I can't remember the exact number. Without even touching the meaning with the Vaishnava perspective. And he was aghast, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma means the entire world. Bhattacharya. He was the Bhattacharya, the Acharya. He was defeated by Mahaprabhu with his explanations. And then he immediately surrendered and he became a Vaishnava. So, like that. So this is the beauty. This Krishna consciousness that is given to us by our Gaudiya Acharyas is very precious, my dear devotees. We don't even understand how deep and how wonderful, what a gift it is. It's exclusive to Rajendranandan. It's exclusive. It's so exclusive, it's so beauty that one point when we are completely purified and when those, unless and until we don't read, when we don't associate, we don't get this information, we cannot even aspire for such things. Like, in our practical example, someday, they are all mostly migrants, especially the children may be born in Canada, but we heard about Canada, right? Then we desired, some friends came or places there, that this is a good place to live, this, that, etc., etc. So then we aspire to come here. True or not? I'm talking from the material perspective. So you hear about a place, you hear about this, then you actually get that information, then you can act upon it. Similarly, unless and until, if we are constantly, yes, we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are so many different deep meanings of Mahamantra. And that is a different subject itself. You were there the other day when I did the Shishtastakam thing. But again, my only request is, if I have to speak somewhere, take the time out, do it in the afternoon so that we don't interfere with the prasadam time or aarti time. Otherwise, you won't be able to relish it that much. I am so sorry that if it has overgone the past time, but sometimes what happens is, it's the devotees also whose enthusiasm makes me enthused, and I can keep going like that. So, thank you again, and Hare Krishna. So, your question about, it is yes, it is Aishwarya Vishesh, Rupa Vishesh, Parivar Vishesh, and Prem Vishesh. So, right now most of us are dwelling on the Aishwarya platform. That even as a formality, we offer, I'm not saying it's wrong, please don't get me wrong, anybody. We're offering a plate or bhoga. How much prem do we have? Do we have that prem of Raghunandan Thakur? That Krishna, please eat, otherwise my father will think that I am not. You offered you bhoga. Please eat, Krishna, please eat. We are offering Krishna what we like. Do we know what Krishna likes? Do we know what Thakur Bhakti Vinod says in his bhoga arti? So many list of items he has given. How much are we offering that to Krishna? Again, it's a point of, I'm not talking just to yourself, I'm talking to myself as well. It's a point of raising the bar. And unless and until we raise the bar, how will we advance? And the way to raise the bar is, first of all, we should have love for our acharyas. Unless and until we don't have love for our acharyas, how can we enter into the Leela of Krishna? Impossible. When we love somebody, when we know somebody, then you have love for that. Supposing if you want to get married to someone, or your parents are looking for a boy or a girl, or somebody's parents are looking, what do they know? They try to first find out who the boy is, what is the family, what is his education, what is this, what is that, so many things, and then you like that person. Is it true or not? Yes. Unless and until you know the person. Now, if you don't know the family of Krishna, how do you think Radharani and Krishna, are they going to take you into their inner circle? Yes, we chant Hare Krishna. It's true. But this is all Vaikuntha Bhav. Yes, when we die, we will get some benefit. Maybe we will come back as human beings, if we are not complete. But it is still Vaikuntha Bhav. Don't think that we will go to Golo. No. It is an encouragement that Srila Prabhupada gave us, that if you chant 16 rounds, that is just to encourage. Of course, I am not going to contradict Prabhupada's words, but especially, where is our effort? Where is our effort? How many of us know the pranam mantras of our acharyas? At least the previous 5 acharyas. What does it mean? This love has to be there. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki